You'll love it on Channel 6.
Recognized around the world as the leader in sports television, ABC Sports, celebrating its 25th anniversary.
ABC Sports presents CFA Football. The #1 Penn State Nittany Lions hosting the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
CFA College Football. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. By Stroh's and Stroh Light. Now we're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here. By GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors. And by General Motors. Whenever you're on the road, please remember to buckle your life belt.
The coaches in today's Notre Dame-Penn State matchup make an interesting sidebar to the story. To a large degree, they are opposites, though their football teams play similar styles. Jerry Faust, in the final year of his 5-year contract at Notre Dame with a 30-23-1 record, a record that would be acceptable most places. But if you are to believe what you hear and see, apparently not so at Notre Dame. Faust, having come from high school coaching to the Irish, has had that extra burden from the beginning and says he knows nothing of his future.
You know, nothing's been said either way, you know, really anything definite either way. So right now, I'm just enjoying coaching, and I'm going to enjoy this game tomorrow. It's a big game. It's a big game for Penn State, big game for Notre Dame. And like I said before, I'd like to get a rumor started. I got a new 10-year contract.
Joe Paterno, on the other hand, is in his 20th season as head coach at Penn State. His Lions, during his tenure, have won 85% of their games. 16 teams have gone to bowl games. 3 have been undefeated. 1 was voted national champion in 1982. As you look at the best years during Joe Paterno's time, you can see in 68-69, they went successively undefeated. But they did not win in the polls, finishing second both times. But finally, they got it in 1982. In the 1979 Sugar Bowl, you had the matchup that was one of the most attractive of all time and produced one of the great games of all time, with Penn State #1 meeting #2 Alabama. A great game with great defensive plays like this one. Scott Fitzke headed for the end zone. Suddenly, Don McNeil of Alabama nails him 1.5 yards short of the goal line. And that set up one of the great goal line stands of all time in collegiate football bowl history. The ball just 1/2 yard away. The national championship at stake. 4th down. Penn State's Mike Gooman will be stopped at the goal line by Alabama's linebacker Barry Krause. And it was the Crimson Tide that claimed the national championship. 4 years later, same place, the opponent, the Georgia Bulldogs. Quarterback Todd Blackledge hooks up here with Greg Garrity. A big play for a touchdown. And the Lions beat Georgia 27-23. And they finally won in the polls. Despite one loss, Penn State and Joe Paterno finally had that elusive national championship. 1985, Penn State almost unexpectedly has another national championship opportunity, though Coach Paterno does not like to talk about it yet.
Well, I really haven't given that part of it, and I know that sounds like I'm not being honest with you, but I really have not given that part of it. We're playing, we've got 2 teams we've got to play today, Notre Dame, and next week Pitt, that gave us awful lickings last year. And I think in the back of our minds has been, we've got to get a little bit of respect back first, and then we'll worry about those other things. And I'm not giving that much thought. I've given this game a great deal of thought, not in the sense of a revenge motive, because I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I don't think you play well when you're trying to do that, but I think we've got to go out and play somebody that gave us that kind of a lick in a good, tough football game, and that's what I've been concentrating on.
In your wildest dreams, and you're a pragmatic man, particularly in days of preseason, did you have any idea this football team would go to its final 2 games undefeated and be ranked #1 in the country?
No, I really didn't, Keith. You know, you always in the back of your mind have daydreams once in a while. You let things run away from you. But I felt we'd be a pretty good football team if we could get by 1 or 2 early. But no, I never thought we'd be 9-0. And actually, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. I felt our football team would be next year because we only really have 6 kids on this whole squad that don't have another year of eligibility if they want to take it. So I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule, but not a little bit, but way ahead of schedule.
And so he comes to this game, number 10 on his schedule, against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, a team that matches up pretty well against Penn State. The Irish, having won 4 in a row, all 5 of their victories have been at home in South Bend. They are 0-3 on the road, and this game is a season maker for them. The Nittany Lions, on the other hand, number 1, and the home folks love them. All but 2 of their games have been very close. A couple of them breathtakingly so. A win today would seemingly solidify their top ranking. The weather is the story. As we said at the beginning of our sports presentation today, it has been raining all day at State College, Pennsylvania. And Coach Frank Broyles, weather is a factor. You cannot ignore it, even though everybody tries.
Coaches have a plan for bad weather, but the worst thing they can do, Keith, is wait until Saturday morning to talk to the team, because bad weather is just as depressing to the team and players as it is to the fans. And first thing you know, they're feeling sorry for themselves, and then self-pity develops, and then first thing you know, you've got self-destruction. But what coaches do, they start on Thursday preparing their team for the kicking game, which is vital. Mistaking the kicking game can be fatal. Then they start working about the plays that they've got to run, protecting the football, reduce the risk that you're going to take, and not make any mistakes. So they are convinced their team is not a disadvantage to be playing in bad weather. But Keith, I must say, I think the advantage lies with Penn State because they've got those heavy-legged backs. Coaches believe that the heavy-legged back has a big advantage in bad weather.
The big fullbacks in particular, though Steve Smith is coming off a minor injury, but he will be available to play today. But Frank, when you get cautious, when you wrap both arms around the ball, it just simply slows you down.
You don't have the recklessness on bad weather. You slow down on your turns. Alan Pinkett of Notre Dame will have to be cautious when he makes those cuts on the wide plays because his feet come right out the line.
I saw you in considerable conversation with Athletic Director Gene Corrigan of Notre Dame. I presume then you can update the circumstance having to do with Jerry Faust's future.
Last night I visited with Gene Corrigan, and he convinced me that the decision on Jerry Faust had not been made. I got the impression that it wasn't going to be made until the end of the season, and that one man, and one man alone, would make that decision. That was Father Hesburgh. I also got the opinion that Jerry Faust was still in the running. I think they looked, and Jerry Faust has been a person with integrity and with dignity, and Father Hesburgh demands those qualities and admires those. So don't count Jerry Faust out of a chance.
But first, he's got to beat Penn State. That would help him mightily. We'll see what happens in just a moment.
The game that counts, the pressure mounts, the kickoff's almost here. Right now, all the way. Now you're talking football. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here.
Stroh's, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste.
Now you're talking Stroh's. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here.
Missile exercise, Caribbean.
Target's turning starboard outbound, over. Fire.
Most jobs promise you the world.
Birds away.
The Navy delivers. See your recruiter or call this number. Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Sometimes getting car financing turns out to be one long hassle.
What kind of car did you have in mind?
A Fiero.
Oh, an Italian car. It's a Pontiac from General Motors.
You know, they make Chevrolets, Oldsmobiles, Buicks, Cadillacs.
GMC trucks.
This is none of my business, but those are not Italian cars. Make it easy on yourself. Finance your car or truck right at your GM dealer with GMAC.
You understand, we do have to know what you want to do with all these cars.
Nobody knows more about financing and leasing cars than GMAC.
When you're dealing with higher volumes of information and need answers fast, you search everywhere for solutions, but find it hard to get on top of things. That's why IBM created the personal computer AT, with the power to push high performance even higher. With the AT, fast becomes faster, and the capacity to handle data becomes greater, all to help put your business on solid ground. The IBM personal computer AT for advanced technology.
These are the shoes that the players will be wearing today. The traditional 7-post, half-inch cleat. It is the longest legally that they are able to wear in this kind of weather. The field is extremely wet. Here in State College, Pennsylvania, it has rained 11 of the last 14 days. Notre Dame brought 21 brand new balls. They gave the umpire 7, and the umpire today may have the most important job, keeping a dry ball on the field. But it is the kicker who will really feel the wet field because the turf is extremely soft and loose. I talked to John Carney of Notre Dame. He said he's having a tough time planting the foot. So we'll keep an eye on that down here on the sidelines. It is raining. They took the tarp up early today, which really saturated the field. It's a tough field right now to play on. Keith?
All right, Tim Brandt, thanks very much. The weather, as we begin the ball game, the temperature is about 38 degrees, and they do expect it to get a little warmer as the day goes along. The wind is not particularly troublesome, gusting at times to 15, maybe 20, but it has not had any great consistency about it. That can be good, and that can be bad. And we understand there's a goodly amount of snow falling in the New York area today, so winter has arrived. Tim Brown is the principal man, along with Alvin Miller, for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, wearing the white shirts. They will accept the opening kickoff from Massimo Manca. His mom is here today from Sardinia, Italy, which is where Massimo was born and raised before coming to this country and locating in Reno, Nevada. We are ready to go as referee William McDonald says play ball. And it's on between the Irish and the Lions. And it goes to Tim Brown, a sophomore out of Dallas, Texas, a wide receiver, and he does not get back to the 20. The Lions nail him at about the 16 as Burline opens at quarterback with Pinkett behind him. Alan Pinkett, a brilliant career. Frank Stamms is a big sophomore who may play an important role for the Irish today. Reggie Ward, an outside receiver at 5'11", 180, and Tim Brown, another wide receiver who just returned that kickoff. They have spotted that ball closer to the 17, and there is where the Irish will go from. Frank Stamms comes off the field, so he will not be in the backfield for the opening snap of the ball. They go to a one-back offense with Alan Pinkett lined up behind Burline. Pinkett has had some big ball games against Penn State, and so, for that matter, has Burline. A quick pop to Brown, get him into one-on-one, and he's up to about the 27 and close to a first down for Notre Dame. Tom Reeder is the big tight end. He's 6'7" and 245. Tom Durger at tackle, 270. Tim Scannell, whose home is here in State College, 280. And Ron Plants at center weighs in at 265. Sean Heffern at guard, 265. And Mike Perino, the other tackle, is 280. They are big. Now Stamms is back in the lineup at the fullback spot as they go on first down from the eye with Pinkett carrying for the first time, and he'll have maybe 2 yards on that carry. Defensively for Penn State, and this is a basic strength of this team, White, Russo, Johnson, Graham, Conlon, Bauer, Alexander. Really, that's 5 linebackers because White and Graham have played at the backer spot before. Cobbs, Hamilton, Zordich, and Isom, the secondary. And the Penn State secondary is a very aggressive and very talented group of football players that will knock your hat off. They are tough. It is second down, call it about 8.5. As Burline slips a little off the snap, clears his pass to the tight end Reeder, and the Irish are at midfield or close to it.
Just a great call by the Notre Dame offense. The weak side linebackers rushing. Watch how wide open Reeder is. Why is he so wide open? The fake to Pinkett, number 1. The linebackers move over to stop Pinkett, leaving themselves vulnerable for this type of pass.
It will be a big day for tight ends, I think, in this game.
Those are the short passes, Keith, the most accurate and high percentage on a wet day, right over the line.
Irish send a single wide receiver to the top of the picture on first down. They put the ball at the Notre Dame 49. And Berline throwing on first down. Again has his tight end wide open. Reader loses his footing at the 40, but he's got another Notre Dame first down.
The reason, again, that Raider is so wide open, the Penn State linebackers run with the fake. They take off and run with the fake. The best way to treat them and to make them bite on that is to run companion plays. This pass pattern is a companion play to Pinkett running up the middle.
Berline hitting his first three passes, 42 yards now, and all three have been first down. Ball is just inside the 40 of Penn State. Berline hands it off to Alan Pinkett, and Pinkett from Sterling, Virginia, is wrestled down after a 2-yard pickup on the play. And talking to the folks over in Virginia on Friday night, there are a lot of Virginia boys in this ball game on both sides for Penn State as well as Notre Dame. But Pinkett is perhaps the more prominent.
Keith, this graphic that we're looking at shows the sharp performance and improvement that Notre Dame has made in their rushing from the first 3 games. Look at in the last 5 and also in their defense. What we're seeing there is a margin of about 200 yards difference from one side of the ball to the other.
Second down and 8 at the Penn State 38. Berline rolls out to throw. Again, his tight end is available to him, and the catch is made. It is the fullback, Frank Stamms, pulling it in. Number 30 pulled it down. The tight end was available again, but it was Stamms swinging out of the backfield.
Misdirection, a slow developing fake in the backfield to Pinkett. This distorts the rush, also the coverage. And Stamms, the original man that Berline faked to, slips out in the flat. The linebackers get lost on the play. Finally, Conlon brings him down.
Change being brought on for the measurement. The reason I think Stamms might be a considerable figure today is because he is 6'4", he's 230 pounds, and he does tend to take care of the football.
Keith, we've talked about from time to time that a wet field favors the passing game because the receivers know where they're going to cut, and the defensive back has to wait and close the gap of the cushion, and he usually slips down. He's slow doing that. So coaches have learned long ago that if you cannot run the ball and you can pass it, it's much more chance of success throwing the ball than running on a wet field. Let's see if that proves true for both sides.
As you saw, it was just a little short.
The cutting by the runners, as we've noticed, Pinkett has rounded off his cut. Not quite as quick as a dry field would provide it.
Berline will have the first down as he reaches the 29 of Penn State. Scores beginning to come in from games around the country. That one started with Kansas holding a 3-0 lead, but the Huskers have blown it open. Ohio State has just had a miserable time with Wisconsin of late, and the Badgers are giving them trouble again. Air Force at halftime by 14 over BYU. That game is being played in Provo. Iowa and Purdue are even in the second quarter. We're down now into those old traditional games, the traditional matchups, where temper has a great deal to do with the outcome of it. It's first down. Notre Dame moving the ball very efficiently in the opening possession, but Berline loses his footing and falls flat of his back, coming off the snap, and the loss is back to the 32.
Keith, the quarterback, when he's going to drop the pass, steps forward. He's taught to, as he gets the ball, as we look at Duke leading in the third quarter over North Carolina State. The quarterback steps forward with his left foot or his right foot. He's taught to do it whichever's most natural for him, and that foot stepped right out from up under.
So a loss of 3. Second down and 13. Penn State shows blitz. Now the backer drops out of there. Shane Conlon not playing today. Slight injury. Down the middle goes the pass to about the 26-yard line. Caught by Reggie Ward, a tight end that had dragged across the middle and hooked up. But he had no place to go as contact was made in a hurry. Rogers Alexander was right there.
Penn State has been very permissive Keith, as we've talked about all through the season, from 20-yard line to 20-yard line. But once you get close to threatening and scoring, they tighten up. Treat those receivers pretty rough, as they did last time on Ward.
In this possession, the Irish have thrown for 57. They've picked up 2 on the ground. It is 3rd down and 6. Burline swings it out to Pinkett. Pinkett is hit at the 25, shakes that one, keeps pounding ahead to about the 21. He's a couple of yards at least short of the first down. Rogers Alexander, the inside linebacker, number 95, again involved in the defensive play.
The strategy and the tactic on that last play, you've got to understand that Burline wanted to go downfield, but the receivers were covered, and he had an alternate receiver in Pinkett, and Pinkett only got just
John Carney comes into the ball game now, the place kicker for Notre Dame, the junior out of Centerville, Ohio. This is a 37-yard attempt. Alvin Wild holds. Something happened. I don't know whether it's bobbled or what. The ball is thrown downfield, and it is incomplete. And I guess Von Wild simply couldn't get it down because Carney took a step into the ball and suddenly stopped. Let's take a look.
Well, the ball is slipped right out of his hand. The one thing you have to concentrate on in the kicking game, catch the ball first. Tough break for Notre Dame after a very fine drive down the field.
9:49 to go in the first quarter.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till you're gonna need somebody to lean on.
When you need a truck to lean on, nothing works like a Chevy truck.
Consider this your special invitation to launch Sears' New Century celebration. Easy Care Flex Slacks are a special find, on sale at just $16.99. There's Trader Bay tops. Do they look smart? Save 50%, and that's just the start. All cotton pajamas, you'll love the way they feel, are now half price, and that's quite a deal. Great savings down every aisle. Now that's starting a new century with style. There's more for your life at Sears.
Next Saturday, Nebraska, Oklahoma. That's one of the great traditionals, and we'll have it for you starting at 3 Eastern Time here on ABC as Penn State comes out for its first possession. And at quarterback, it is John Schaefer. DJ Dozier starts left, cuts right, gets from about the 21 up to the 22. John Schaefer, the junior out of Cincinnati. He was a student at Moeller before Jerry Faust left for Notre Dame. DJ Dozier, the tailback. Tim Manoa opens at fullback because of injury to Steve Smith. Eric Hamilton is a flanker, 6'1", 195. And Ray Roundtree, the speedster outside, a 6-footer, 175 from Aiken, South Carolina. It is 2nd down and 9 as Dozier picked up 1 yard on the carry. We have already seen the wet ball cause some trouble for the Irish as they could not handle a snap on a field goal try. Dozier now running over the left side. Dean DiMedio is the tight end, 225, big fella. Stan Clayton at tackle, 265. Mitch Farrat, 250 at guard. Radisek opens at center today. Keith is 250. Todd Moles, 260 at guard. And Dan Morgan, 6'6" and 270 at the other tackle. And for Penn State now, it is 3rd down and about 5. It'll be a short 5. You see the rain continuing to fall. Not raining hard, but steady. Schaefer, deep drop, trying to set up a screen. Finally gets the ball to the fullback, Manoa, and Manoa will have a first down as he breaks it all the way to the 35.
High percentage call, 3rd down, deep in your end of the field. Take no chances. Screen pass. Let Notre Dame know you better be careful in rushing. We're going to drop the ball off to our fullback, but notice care for the people that slip down. You see 2 Notre Dame people slip down on this play that could have made it possibly before the first down by Manoa, the fullback.
So from just over the 35, the Lions have their first down of the ball game, this being their first possession. DJ Dozier wiggles around in traffic and will pick up about 8 yards before Eric Dorsey makes the tackle for Notre Dame. Eric Dorsey is one of the 3 down linemen, actually. Mike Kiernan listed in there, though he may not play a whole lot. Notre Dame coming out with really 2 true down linemen, and Jeff Kuntz being the other big guy, but they've got 5 backers in there. Figaro, Kovalevsky, Perjanik, Banks, and Larkin. And the secondary you saw of Wilson, Ballage, Lawrence, and Haywood. This is a defense that has performed very well for them. They lost Dingens and Klein, 2 of their big men, to injury, and this is the fullback Manoa. And there's nothing fancy about Tim Manoa when he gets the football. He's big and he's strong. He weighs 230 pounds. He just simply turns it on and runs as far as he can, as hard as he can.
The coaches for Penn State told me that Manoa could play linebacker. You can see what he's done this year. Very successful. For a big fullback, weighs 230. He has that combative temperament that you like to see in a fullback. Likes to run over people.
He's a Samoan.
Tough Samoan.
48-yard line, first down Lions. Schaefer rolling it to throw. Looks downfield, pulls it down, and turns back for a couple of yards as he gets to about midfield.
Schaefer has had some streaks of bad throwing throughout the season, Keith. His percentage is well below 50%, about 44%. But Joe Paterno says just when you get mad at him, he makes the key pass and wins the ball game for you. But we can look for 2 quarterbacks to play for Penn State today as well as Notre Dame. Here's the graphic for Schaefer and what he's done this year. You can see he's a winner, those intangibles, Keith.
Second down and 8 from midfield. Blitz coming. Oh, did Manoa pick off the blitzer? And DJ Dozier picks up about 7 or 8 yards. Manoa picked off Mike Haywood, the cornerback. He was coming at the top of the picture, and I mean, he was flying. And I watched this collision when Manoa nails him.
This is what we call a suicidal effort right there by Haywood, number 1. But 44, as I said, is like a tank. 230. Manoa, the Samoan, just neutralizes him right there and opens up enough room for Dozier to break clean for a nice game.
Picked up 7 yards. It is third down and 3. 6 minutes to go. First quarter, no score. Schaefer slips a little bit as he sets to throw, gets it out the way, and it is caught by Dean DeMidio, the tight end. And it'll be a first down.
Keith Jackson likes this throwing to the tight end. He keeps asking me, Frank, why don't you throw the tight end? Well, Keith, you're going to see it today. The tight end crossing. Linebacker Perjanik trying to cover him. Just a little bit more speed. Now, Dorsey, the number 1 pass rusher. Number 74 is a starter for the first time. Graham just keeps his hands right on legally on Dorsey and out of the punch.
Stan Clayton, 74.
74 Clayton, that's right. 59 Graham, the 2 new starters.
Fullback pounding away on the first down carry for about 3 yards. Both quarterbacks now are perfect. Berline in the opening possession, 6 out of 6. Schaefer now, 2 out of 2.
Quarterback, Keith, as we said over the course of the season, is the biggest and most critical variable in any football game. Accuracy by the quarterbacks throwing today is going to be the key factor. It looks like passing is going to play a major role in this ball game.
That was a gain of 4 by Manoa, make it second down 6. From the 28, Schaefer back again. Goes underneath with it to Dozier out of the backfield, and he's fighting for the marker. It is the second effort sometimes that'll get you in trouble, however, when you're working in murky conditions. Sometimes that ball will squirt loose, but DJ covered it with both hands and picked up the first down.
Keith, passing on this end of the field in college football has put 2 receivers on 1 defender. In front and back, and the Notre Dame linebacker had no choice. He covered the deep man. Schaefer very smartly and wisely dumped it off to Dozier.
The ball is just short of the Irish 21, where it's first down for Penn State. So the Irish drove it down and missed the field goal try. Penn State coming right back. Schaefer has a lot of time. Loops it. Got it. Touchdown. Dozier.
back out of the backfield, you have to have nice protection. Key for the quarterback is excessive time. As Dozier comes out of the backfield and gets in behind the linebacker, and the ball was dropped perfectly by Schaefer. Only one place could it be completed before Wilson could make the tackle. It was still a touchdown.
Tony Perjanik was the backer trying to cover him. Wilson got there a little bit late, and Penn State out on top. Maso Momenka now for the extra point try. Matt Kisner will hold him. He's perfect on the season, all 21 of them. That snap was high, but Kisner, a quarterback, was able to pull it down and hold it well for him, and he knocks it right through. And it's Penn State 7-0.
The good life in America means reaching for your dream.
The Equitable manages over $20 billion of real estate that not only provides a better place to live and work for millions of Americans, it also provides a substantial return for the people who invest with us.
We are the Equitable. Yes, we'll help you live the good life. We are the Equitable. We can help your dreams come true.
I thought safety belts were valuable even before General Motors increased their value with $10,000 worth of life insurance. Now, every new GM car or light truck comes with a 1-year life belt certificate from MIC General, the insurance people at GM, at no extra cost, just for buckling up.
I've always buckled up, but then I guess I've always been the cautious type.
See your GM dealer for details, then buckle your life belt.
DJ Dozier, another Virginian who makes the catch. And in that possession, Dozier ran 4 times for 20 yards and caught 2 passes for 28 yards, including this touchdown.
Here's a good picture from the back of the offense. Look at the protection. Excessive time spreads the defense. Haywood was so deep in the backfield, covering the deep man, he had no chance to get over. Perjanik could not cover Dozier. A mismatch in speed, a touchdown resulting.
And as you saw the crowd when we were here some 2 weeks ago, all the color was on the trees. The color is now in the stadium with the orange and red and blue and yellow rain gear. No umbrellas. You don't see umbrellas much anymore at football stadiums.
Well, most stadiums outlaw them, Keith. They will not let umbrellas into the stadium because they bother the people sitting behind and to the side. Seems unfair, but that's the policy.
Eyes are too hard to come by. Goal line, Alvin Miller. Running cautiously, but running well, almost to the 30-yard line. He's up around the 29 before they finally bring him down with 4 minutes and 31 seconds to go in the first period.
Rise and shine, cast your line, catch the limit here. Now you're talking fishing, now you're talking beer, now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is smoking here.
Stroh's, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste.
Now you're talking Stroh's, now you're talking beer, now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is smoking here.
Today, Chevrolet is making it fun with an international auto show.
Take a look, get the feel.
See the world from behind the wheel.
Come and be a part of it all.
Today, Chevrolet introduces your next small car. It's designed for high quality, high affordability, and fun. This year, more than 750,000 Americans will buy a small car at your Chevy dealer's International Auto Show. Shouldn't you?
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy. Chevy.
Historically, Penn State has defended great running backs very well, with the exception of Alan Pinkett. Joe Paterno comments.
But I always felt that we could do a great job against great backs. We played Dorset. Dorset never got 100 yards against us till his last year, and then only the second half of the game, and when they had the national championship team in '76, Marcus Allen, Walker. We've always been able to do a pretty good job of making those guys getting some kind of control over them. But Pinkett's been tough for us, and I think we're going to do a better job with him.
So far, they have. Irish come up now first down at the 29 in their first possession. 11 plays. They went 62 yards, missed on the field goal. And this pass is thrown down the middle, intended for Pinkett. And Allen was wide open, deep drop by the safeties of Penn State, but the ball was too high. But he was really open.
He could have possibly scored on the play because the safety man had split to the sideline and left the middle wide open.
That is the first missed pass of the ball game, and it comes with 4:27 to go in the first quarter. Run Pinkett, and comes up to around the 33-yard line. Give him a 4 on the carry, and we check in with Jim Lampley.
All right, Keith, 2 scores in the Big Ten can affect the national championship picture, and Wisconsin, the last team to beat Ohio State at home in '82, leads them now with less than 3 minutes to go in Ohio Stadium, 12-7. Meanwhile, Iowa was tied up at 14-14, has gotten another touchdown, and now leads Purdue 21-14. All yours, Keith.
Thank you, Jim. 3rd down and 6 now for the Irish. Penn State almost jumped, but the defensive tackle able to get back on his own side. Berline has a lot of time to look, but in the process of getting all that time, I suspect somebody may have held because there's a flag on the field.
Well, that's a tough break for Notre Dame because the pass was completed for the first down. Oh, my, mistakes. You preach against that holding, but you get anxious to let Berline have a little more time, as Keith pointed out. He needed that extra time, too, Keith, for Tim Brown to work in the open spot.
The officials for today's ball game are from the Collegiate Independence Football Association.
Both Penn State and Notre Dame use the same group of officials, Keith.
This group's got 173 years of whistleblowing. They ought to know how, huh?
I would think so. If you can ever learn it. No, I didn't mean that.
Well,
it's tough, though. They do a great job.
You know, there's so much judgment placed on officials in all athletics today, and everything happens so fast. Sometimes it's
holding
tough.
during the run. Repeat 3rd down.
Keith, now Notre Dame is really in a box. Do they go deep for the first down, risk an interception, or they try to go short and run for the first down?
Well, they've got to go to the 39.
Penn State is very effective when the team is forced into a passing situation. Those linebackers can run. Rogers Alexander has 2 interceptions.
Bring a fresh ball into the game, and they'll be doing that as much as possible today, though eventually going to run out of a dry ball.
Well, I think Timmy Brand mentioned Notre Dame brought 21. That's smart.
3rd down and 16.
Very loose coverage by Penn State.
They pick up the blitzer. Berline's pass is away. Good to Tim Brown at the 40-yard line. They go deep and get away with it. They pick up the first down.
One thing that Penn State has been bothered by is the fact their defensive cornerbacks, Keith, do not have big speed, great speed, so they give a big cushion, and the cushion allows Brown to get the ball and catch it for the first down. Timmy Brown, he is an outstanding receiver, has that breakaway speed. He's caught 19 passes for, get this, 17-yard average. That's what he had to have for the first down, 17 yards.
Making the tackle was Duffy Cobbs, number 16, and Duffy has, they picked on Duffy all season long, but obviously the team is 9-0, so he's held up. Berline looks down the middle with it and throws it hard. Pinkett can't pull it in.
The Penn State secondary, Keith, as you've already pointed out, and properly so, are very aggressive in supporting the run, but they're very cautious in defending against the pass. One thing they did last year was blitz a lot and play man and got burned doing it. This year they made up their mind, we're not going to give them anything easy. Permissive yardage between the 20s, but we'll tighten up when they get close to the goal line and stop them.
That's a little bit of the defensive philosophy we saw last week at LSU.
Yes, same kind, Keith.
They bump together. Berline drops the ball. Berline losing the ball as he bumps into Pinkett.
It was a rollout pass trying to get Berline on the corner. Keith, the rain is still coming down. And I guess the fake there of Pinkett was a little slow or something. And the ball lays on the ground for quite a while. finally, Berline jumps on it and recovers it.
And there's a considerable loss. It is back inside the 34.
3rd and 17 again. Well, they're going to go over and work on Hamilton this time with Brown. Well, then double coverage, Steve. Double coverage by.
There's movement. And I think the flag's against the folks in white.
Well, the signal, Berline changed the snap count, and the defense went, and the offense didn't, Keith. So the first one to make contact was by the defense, and therefore it's a 5-yard penalty.
I thought I'd seen the left guard move a tad on that play, but I guess not. Or
Well,
somebody on the left side.
He did move, Keith, but I think the first one that crossed the line was the defense, and if they make contact while he's crossing that neutral zone, it's a penalty on the defense. I don't know whether I explained that right or not, but I think so.
Offside. Defense. Repeat 3rd down.
Keith, get this stat for the first quarter so far. Notre Dame has passed for 78 yards, rushed for 0. Wet field.
They're looking now at about 3rd and 12. Berline again has time. Passes down the middle, thrown behind the intended receiver just a little. Reggie Ward. Reggie trying to reach back to rope it in. Couldn't do it. So it'll bring in the kicking team.
Ward, number 83, is going to go in front of the safety. Brown, to the other side of the screen, is going behind the safety, and the tight end is pushing deep. Ward is wide open. The ball was just thrown behind, as Keith has mentioned. Safety man hit him after the ball and passed him very close.
Dan Sorensen to punt. 42 punts. He's averaging 41.5 yards. That is not a good one. But it does take a bit of a Notre Dame bounce and finally goes out of bounds somewhere around the 36-yard line of Penn State, and there is a penalty flag on the field. Net on the punt, 26 yards.
Mr. Goodwrench knows your car's engine is an inferno of heat and friction. 100, 200 piston strokes of engine wear per second. It needs the life-saving fluid that protects it right. GM Goodwrench Motor Oil. Takes the friction, takes the heat. It's everything General Motors asks for in a fine motor oil. Get it from Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better. No one.
Announcing the 1986 Eldorado, the free-spirited Cadillac. A special reflection of you. Our most advanced functional electronics ever. Totally new Cadillac luxury and technology. A driver's car. The 1986 Cadillac Eldorado. Imaginatively new. Decidedly Cadillac. Drive the 1986 Eldorado. Best of all, it's a Cadillac.
An explosive Big 8 showdown. The second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers tangle with number 6 Oklahoma and their top-ranked defense. CFA coverage begins with college football today, next Saturday.
It will be 1st and 25 for Penn State. We told you there was a penalty flag down. Shane Conlon, we were told, wouldn't play much today, if any, and suddenly he appears on the special teams and makes a late hit, gets flagged for it, and Penn State now is backed up around its 20-yard line at 1:41 to go in the first quarter, and leading 7-0.
Mistakes in the kicking game. We used to say the 4 don'ts of the kicking game: don't be offside, don't rough the kicker, don't let the ball hit the ground, Keith, and the 4th one was thou shalt not click. And that's about what happened. Conlon lost his poise a little bit, it seemed there.
Of course, when you're across the way and the ball is bouncing along the sideline, sometimes you don't know whether it's still in play or not.
That's right. That's correct, Keith. The ball was rolling, and the officials had already blown the whistle when the block was made.
Very dark, gray, rainy day. You can just barely make out Mount Nittany. The clouds are so low. 1st and 25 from the 20 as a result of the foul, and John Schaefer gives to Dozier. Dozier shakes off a tackler behind the line of scrimmage. Eric Dorsey had a hold of him back around the 18. But Dorsey couldn't hang on. Eric has become the bell cow of the Irish defense.
The reason is, Keith, he is so quick. You see that on that play, he jumped the line of scrimmage and got through it before the offensive blocker could even get a half of a block on him, and slowed Dozier down for the play.
Moved it out to the 22. So it's second down and 23. And Schaefer gives it back to Dozier, and he'll have another couple of yards, maybe 3, as he gets up to the 25. And we have less than a minute to go in the first quarter, and here's Jim.
Keith, it is over at Ohio Stadium. Wisconsin has snapped Ohio State's 20-game home winning streak. More importantly, Ohio State has surrendered the inside track to the Rose Bowl. Iowa need win only today against Purdue and next week against Minnesota to go to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl trip Chuck Long so badly wanted. All yours, Keith.
That's a considerable upset. Big one for Dave McClain and his folks. Big one. On third down, Schaefer back. Goes down the middle for his tight end, DiMedio. First down, Penn State at the 49.
What a tremendous throw. Anytime you throw the ball to the tight end on a streak pattern, you have to get the ball over the linebackers and drop it in front of the safety man. Over the linebacker right there, and the safety man should be coming up right there to make the tackle. A big, big first down, Keith. Boy, Schaefer has looked great so far.
Dozier. Well, he's able to hold his footing and make 3 little jukes. But all of that will produce about 2 yards for him. And the first quarter is over. Penn State leading 7-0.
Now, Chevy announces finance savings up to $1,524 on new 85 S10 Blazer, America's most popular sport utility vehicle. Choose InstaTrack 4-wheel drive, available V6, all the comforts. Save up to $1,060 on new 85 S10 pickup and Maxi Cab 2. Get big 8.8% finance savings on any new 85 Chevy S10 in dealer stock. But this offer is for a limited time, so hurry. Nothing works like a Chevy truck.
To match the higher intelligence of the new Commodore 128, an Apple IIc would have to add 3 more 2Cs to expand to 512K. An extra keypad, 30 block graphic sets, color sprites, 2 more voices, 4 instruments, a cartridge port, a joystick port, and a Commodore 64. Commodore 128 personal computer, a higher intelligence at a lower price.
Excuse me, any Christmas gifts under $10? Our Ace November Best Buys. This Chicago Cutlery Gourmet Knife Set is only $9.77. What a bargain.
And these Noma 100 mini light sets are just $4.44.
Oh, I'll take 2. Or the Coffee at a Touch Thermal Carafe, just $9.77. Great idea.
There are lots more great ideas in the Ace $1 billion celebration circular.
I've got a long list, and Ace is the place.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man.
It's definitely European beer, Germany.
Tastes imported, but it's really America's own. Genesee 12-horse ale.
Definitely has an imported beer taste. Very distinct flavor. I definitely think it could compete to an imported beer. And the fact that it is brewed in the United States kind of gives me an extra little edge. I like that. That's good to see. It's America.
Imported taste in an American ale. Genesee 12-horse.
Nice thick steak cooked about medium rare with a baked potato and a glass of 12-horse.
Recapping briefly for you after 1 period of play, 7-0 Penn State. DJ Dozier catching a 21-yard pass from John Schaefer for the Penn State touchdown. Notre Dame on the opening possession went downfield 62 yards, but then muffed the snap on a field goal try, and the Irish have yet to score. Right now, Penn State completing a pass down the middle. Schaefer to Dean DiMedio, the tight end, with the football. Second down and 8 at midfield.
Look at the day John Schaefer has had. Last week he was off, had a bad game, and started to lose his confidence, Keith, but not today.
They've got the tight end DiMedio in motion. He goes short, down the middle. Number 30 goes deep, Eric Hamilton, and takes a lick as the ball arrives and can't come up with it. And the rain continues to fall.
Lance Hamilton, number 30, The wide receiver goes down and he's trying to get him behind the safety man. The reason for this type of pass, Lawrence, Notre Dame's safety man, has been supporting the run so effectively and so quickly that they thought they could get behind him, but Lawrence, number 23, was not fooled.
Third down. 8. Dozier hands the ball off to Timpson. Pitch it back to Schaefer. Schaefer hit as he throws, and it is out of bounds. He just barely got it away, but you're going to run a gimmick play like that on weather like this on a field as soft as that one. It's going to be done so slowly that it's going to be very difficult to make it work.
Well, Dozier hands to Timpson, who laterals to the quarterback. Notre Dame was not fooled, but look at the people slipping down, and Schaefer gets hit, and the ball just wobbles up in the air, goes incomplete, away from all the defenders as well as the receivers.
Bruno is in the punt for Penn State, and the punt is good enough into the wind, hanging in the rain for 38 yards, that Troy Wilson has to make a fair catch call at the 12-yard line. 14:41 to go in the first half.
Manage. To handle or direct with skill. Rockwell International Management stimulates the work of its 120,000 employees, 1 in 6 a scientist or engineer. Their elegant solutions to customer needs make Rockwell a world leader. Rockwell International. Managing high technology for global markets.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
Up here, technology can be fun. Down there, it's a different story. It's where General Motors tests AC Delco parts to make sure they deliver performance and reliability.
AC Delco has a full line of parts for most any car or truck, from Delco batteries, Delco shocks, AC fire ring spark plugs, and AC filters. Help your car pass the test. Get the smart parts from AC Delco.
Call 800 AC Delco for a retailer near you.
Off to their best start in 17 years, the New York Giants are tied for the lead in the NFC East. They face their division rivals, the Washington Redskins, on ABC's Monday Night Football, live at 9 Eastern.
We had the public address announcer while we were away informing the people of some information. I'll tell you that in a moment. First, Joe Paterno talking about gimmick plays.
Well, I think everybody that goes into a football game ought to have something to change the game. I've always, when we get through with the game plan with the staff, I say, okay, now nothing's working. How do we get this thing changed around? We got to have something to get somebody fired up. We got to get a, give me a 30-yard play. Where's a 30-yard play here that they don't expect, kind of thing. And so we've got a couple of gimmicks. You know, we probably have, we've got some things we haven't used this year that obviously we'll use if we have to today. And then we put one little gimmick in there that earlier in the week that my brother George called me up at 10:30 at night, got me out of bed to tell me I had to put in. So that's in.
Maybe that was it. Berline hands the ball off to Alan Pinkett, and from the 12, Pinkett fights his way up to about the 15. Now, the PA announcer, while we were away, was informing the crowd, giving them information on a cold, wet day that they should drink something warm and some soup or some such things as that, and no alcohol, which got a roaring boo from the crowd of 80,000.
Pinkett, Notre Dame had, up until that play, had 0 yards rushing in the first quarter. Pinkett just hadn't been able to keep his footing and make the cuts that he would normally.
Second down and 7. Little lob up in the middle. It goes to Brown, the wide receiver, and Tim Brown gets close to the 20 before he is level and knocked out of bounds. Let's check in with Jim.
Fireworks in Provo, Keith. 4:42 to go in the third quarter. BYU had just gotten to within 2 on a Bosco to Bellini touchdown pass. This throwback to Limley after a 5-yard penalty got the 2-point conversion, which has tied things up now at 21 apiece between the Cougars and the Falcons. Back to you, Keith.
All right, thank you. I expected that one would tighten up. Third down, need about 2. They'll try to throw for it. Tight ends out there on the sidelines, go underneath with it. Bad pass. Ball is thrown behind Tim Brown, and it's not always that easy to get the kind of a grip for a pass that needs to be thrown sharply and quickly.
Here's the score down in Athens, Georgia, between the hedges. Auburn leading. Oklahoma State is coming back, Keith. Missouri was leading earlier.
Yeah, 10-0. Sorensen in now to punt for the Irish. Penn State, if they handle the ball here, should come out of it with pretty good field position. Jim Coates is their punt return man. Very dependable. Sorensen's first punt today was a 26-yarder. Pressure on him. Gets it away. Low kick. Coates takes it, moving at the 43, comes up the sidelines, crosses midfield, and he'll be down around the Irish 43. So it was a 38-yard punt, but it was a low driving kick, and you see the heat coming here from the Matt Johnson, the defensive tackle. The blocker picked him up just in time.
That's right, Keith. The blocker did keep Johnson out of the play. He could have blocked that punt, which would have been disastrous for Notre Dame.
Coates with a good return. And Penn State's in business now. Ball is just about on the 43 of the Irish. Penn State leading 7-0. Second quarter. And the ball to Steve Smith, who has replaced Manoa at the fullback position. Another big, strong back, 6'1", 240-pounder. ABC's presentation of NFL Monday Night Football. The New York Giants and the Washington Redskins. That's an NFC Eastern Division game. Giants sitting on top of the pack. The Redskins struggling, but they do tend to get a little fired up for the Giants, don't they?
Yes, they do. That'd be a big ball game. Both teams.
Second down, call it about 6 as Schaefer drops to throw. Has his man. Pass is good. Down to about the 23-yard line to Darrell Giles, a senior out of Montclair, New Jersey.
What poise John Schaefer, the quarterback, is showing. Coming into this ball game, he was completing only 44%. Giles, number 28, a senior, was a freshman on the national championship team of 1982. Pushes deep. Now the defensive back has to close that cushion. You don't see him come in the picture because the footing is just too poor for him to come quickly enough to figure in the play. Beautiful day for Schaefer. Superb passing so far.
First down at the Irish 23. This is Big Smith. He drops that shoulder and punishes Steve Lawrence some, as Steve at 195 pounds has to come up from the free safety spot to make the hit on the 240-pounder.
Here's the difference in the starting point. Field position on a wet day is so important. When you start at the 38-yard line, you make one first down, you're virtually in the other team's territory and ready to move in for at least a field goal attempt. You start back at your 20, long drives are very unlikely today.
Special teams and field position.
Name of the game, Keith.
Second down, 7. This is Dozier. Dorsey grabs him, but BJ is going to find his way to the 16 before they can pull him down.
Dorsey, number 71, he is a great football player. Notre Dame's most dominant defensive player. Watch him control the blocker with his hands. Shed the blocker right there. Move over, and it's an armful to pull Smith down. Dozier, I mean, down. But he does right there. As he tried to strip him of the ball, which is what really would help Notre Dame more than anything.
Well, it's a day to put your hat on the ball every time you get a chance at it. It gets greasy. They need about 3 yards on third down. Schaefer
throws it out of bounds. See?
It was Dorsey that put Schaefer down on his back as he released the ball.
Dorsey, number 71. We'll be calling his name a lot because he actually has that strength, that ability, just an outstanding player. Now he escapes from the block, sheds the blocker, and makes Schaefer throw the ball out of bounds.
Well, he threw a wounded goose, though. If he hadn't had the sidelines close to him, I don't know
he
what
wouldn't have gotten there, would he? It was,
in comes Manka now for a 32-yard field goal try for Penn State.
Keith Bobby Dodd, my coach, said it looked like one of Broad's passes.
Kisner holds perfectly. Manka nails it. And at 11:04 to go in the first half, Penn State adds its lead over Notre Dame to 10-0.
There are lots of new things going on in healthcare. And this new health care can be good if there's someone who really cares for you. That's why nearly 80 million people carry the Blue Cross and Blue Shield card. But this message isn't for those who do. It's for those who don't.
While other full-size automobiles are shrinking, there remains an uncompromised American classic. Today's Chevrolet Caprice Classic Brome. Uncompromised V8 performance. Uncompromised smooth and quiet ride. Uncompromised room and luxury. Caprice Classic. Not the most expensive luxury car, but the most preferred. Accept no substitute. Drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy. Caprice Classic.
Back here on the sidelines at Penn State, one of the most important jobs here this afternoon is keeping the footballs dry. We told you that Notre Dame brought 21 brand new balls. They are trying to use as many as they can, but they get in one or two plays and they get wet. The surprising thing, the amazing factor, is that there have been no turnovers. This is one of the reasons why they're keeping these balls dry, Keith.
Keith, to add on to what Timmy said, the ball gets heavier as the game goes along, that mud, and becomes more difficult to pass. And the fact that Schaefer is so successful now is a good sign for him to get those points on the scoreboard as quickly as he can.
I think that'd be a pretty good job to have today. At least you keep your hands warm. Penn State kicking off now after the 32-yard field goal by Manka. Deep people are Brown and Miller for the Irish. Wynn's going to knock that down a little short. Picked up by Brown. Oh, he's got a good block. Tries to get to the corner, and he's still going. There's one other thing that happens in a wet, cold day like this. As the players get muddy and their uniforms get wet and greasy, they're harder to bring down.
This is a brilliant run by Timmy Brown. 31 yards. Watch him make people miss him. He runs through an arm tackle there, but gives a good little fake to number 3, Henderson. Sidesteps another, and finally is tackled by Downing, number 4.
And Notre Dame has good field position. Ball is just short of their 39. They trail 10-0 at 10:55 to go in the first half. Berline stays in there at quarterback. They've not gone to their second unit. When they do, they'll probably go with a complete unit. This is Pinkett. And Alan Pinkett, who has had some big days, 200-plus yards, 189 yards in the last 2 games against Penn State. So far today, they've handled him pretty well. Duffy Cobb's going to make the hit.
Tom Rader, the tight end, number 90, blocks inside, and then get a good block from Stamps, number 30, on to Shane Conlon, number 31. He ties him up enough for Pinkett to break outside, but Duffy Cobbs, number 16, comes in and makes that tackle.
I think Shane Conlon's of course, this is known as linebacker U, and the linebackers around this team get pretty stirred up on game day. We didn't expect Conlon. He'd been hurt a little bit, but I guess game day, the adrenaline got to flowing and the pain went away. This is Pinkett, and he almost popped it. He's got a first down as he gets close to the Penn State 49. Again, Jim.
A look at 2 important Big 8 games. Oklahoma has a Holloway touchdown run and a Collins touchdown run, leads Colorado 14-0 into third. Oklahoma State came from behind with 3 touchdowns in 2 minutes, including a Thomas run. They lead Missouri 21-13. Thurman Thomas in the first half, 19 carries, 145 yards, and a touchdown, Keith.
Thank you, Jim. It's first down for the Irish now as Berline rolls and throws, and the pass is caught. The pass is caught by Stams, the fullback, swinging out of the backfield. And Michael Zorich, the strong safety, or if you like in Penn State vernacular, the hero back, makes the hit.
Throwing on first down has been the strategy for Notre Dame. Penn State always overplays the run on first down. But today, Notre Dame's trying to take advantage of it.
Time remaining in the first half of play. Second down, 6. This is Stams, the fullback, big and strong, and he pounds his way for the first down. Brought down by Rogers Alexander.
when you have 5 linebackers playing on defense, Keith, all you want to do is start in one direction and go back the other. Linebackers have a tendency to move. They don't know where the ball is. Rogers Alexander, number 95, 87 tackles, dodges a blocker, comes up and gets a hold of Spams, and with help from his halfback, throws him to the ground.
Miller goes to the top of the screen now as Berline settles under center on first down. Intercepted. Picked off by Rogers Alexander. Berline was late getting the pass away, and Alexander made him pay.
Alexander's one of those complete linebackers. He can play the run, or he can play the pass equally well. He's already intercepted 2 passes this year from inside the linebacker position. Berline tips it off where he's throwing all the way, looks at him, but Alexander has the speed to come in front of the receiver stand, picks it off for an interception that sets Penn State up deep in Notre Dame territory.
Well, that was Pinkett, Frank. If he had thrown to Stams, he'd have had a completion, but Stams was open, but he chose Pinkett. And if he'd let it go sooner, he'd have had him. But instead, Alexander picks off the pass, and Penn State works from the 34 of the Irish. And Schaefer's throw is incomplete, intended for Ray Roundtree.
Here's Alexander. How do you play pass defense? You drop back and defend against the pass, deep pass first. He's covering Miller. Then he picks up Pinkett coming in the flat. Keith, you couldn't play it any better. That is beautiful linebacker play. Timed it, broke on the ball, caught it, and makes a nice run.
And it's second down and 10. Ball just inside the 35, near the 34. Hamilton, the man in motion. Give it a Dozier. Big hole for Dozier. And it's first down, Penn State at the Notre Dame 17.
The first time that Notre Dame went into a blitz, playing man for man. Penn State pops Dozier on open field. The secondary are chasing receivers all over the field. They don't know who's got the ball. They're still covering receivers after he once gets by Perjanik, number 58, right there. Where the defensive backs, they're chasing receivers. But there comes Lawrence, 23, slows him down, but not for a big first down.
Or somebody had a heck of a block on Perjanik that time. He was the only man, really, that had a shot at Dozier.
Could have been the fullback, Keith, the lead blocked by Smith.
First down, Penn State. Nothing there that time.
Penn State has looked brilliant on offense.
Raleigh Klein, who has come off of an injured knee into the ball game, and Klein made that hit. 6'9", 275. He's big enough to handle Steve Smith. Oklahoma and Nebraska both winning, and that sends us next Saturday to Owen Field, Norman, Oklahoma. Ooh, will that be a dandy? Always is. It's always a great football game.
Two expertly coached teams, rich tradition in Nebraska and Oklahoma.
Second down, 11, the loss of a yard. There's Ty Dozier again, and DJ's finding daylight as he goes down close to the 10.
The fake pass and run has been Penn State's #1 play all year long. The Notre Dame coaches said that's the one play we worry about. We're trying to slow up our defensive linemen, let them be sure it's not the fake pass and run before they continue to pressure the passer. But still, the blocking of that offensive line and the running of Dozier, too much for Notre Dame.
And Dorsey has come back in now. Klein was in to give him a little rest. But they've got to put the big guy back in on 3rd down and 4. Penn State threatening again, leading 10-0. Schaefer drops to throw. Dozier's going to the corner of the end zone. No, he's out of bounds.
Pass intended for Notre. Incomplete. 4th down.
Robert Banks, the outside backer, had picked him up coming off the corner.
Same pass, Keith, that they scored on earlier, except this time Banks, number 56, is covering out of the backfield instead of Perjanik. But good protection. You have to have that kind of protection to get the back deep in the end zone. Dozier made a great effort to catch the ball with one hand, but couldn't hold it.
Massimo Menka, 27-yard field goal try, hit from 32 just a few minutes ago. High snap, Kisner gets it down, puts it up, and good. 6 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the first half. And Penn State now with a touchdown and 2 field goals, leading 13-0.
Flight operations, Hawaiian Islands.
Bring up 155.
Most jobs promise you the world. The Navy delivers. See your recruiter or call this number. Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Escape on my airline, United, to the wonders of Maui. With a fare so low, it'll bring Maui alive.
Peaceful island paradise, playful island sight, vibrant island waters, exotic island nights. The friendly skies bring Maui alive.
Once you get to Maui, you may never want to leave. Come, let us bring it alive.
Let the friendly skies bring Maui alive.
No pass, no play. The new controversial Texas law that may change the face of amateur athletics. Plus the pro athlete endorsement controversy on ABC Sports Beat tomorrow.
The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame working themselves steadily into a hole as Penn State leads 13-0, and it's a tough team to come back against. You see that graphic. It's one of the astounding stories of this team to me, Frank, coming into this ball game, and what they've done today. They've scored 73 points directly as a result of turnovers, takeaways.
Play for and make the breaks. One comes your way, score. That was in General Bob Neyland's playbook in 1928. Still holds true.
Low skidding kick will be fielded at the 8-yard line by Alvin Miller. Miller gets back to about the 25, and there he's down.
Notre Dame very desperately needs to respond with some points on the scoreboard right here with 6:32 left to play in the second quarter. They moved down the field twice, missed the field goal, had a pass intercept. Once again, as Keith mentioned, we've said opportunistic, get that out in a minute, football team of Penn State.
Andrzak is in at quarterback. Terry Andrzak, the sophomore out of Allen Park, Michigan, who showed up in the Navy game and played so well, started the following week. They do not, however, go to a full unit substitution. That had been their hope. They could do it, but sometimes people get nicked up and bruised, and you can't make the full-scale, full-unit substitution.
The story on Andrzak, Keith, is he has more movement, can get outside with the ball.
This goes to Alan Pinkett for a sweep, his biggest one of the day. And he's out close to the 40.
Boy, what blocking by the Notre Dame line, Keith. To sustain your block to the right of your screen, as long as Notre Dame has to do right here. Peppering number 52, tight end Raider. Fullback Stamps right there, and you can see that 35 Bow just couldn't get to him, and the safety man has to make the tackle. Otherwise, it's a touchdown. Andrzak has the quickness. They'll use a different style of passing attack with Andrzak other than Berline.
First down at the 40, Pinkett 38 yards, with the rest of the team -1, despite that one good goal by Stams. And Andrzak coming in off the bench cold, fumbles the snap. Can't get away clean with it, and is going to lose a yard. North Carolina State losing to Duke today. It's a great win for Steve Sloan, but I noticed last week that the North Carolina State people had gone on record that Tom Reed would return as the coach, putting rumors to rest.
Tom Reed's a good football coach, Keith. He'd had a good fine career up in Ohio.
Ball is back at the 39, where there's a loss of about 1.5 yards on the fumble snap, and now Andrzak, not settled and not satisfied with the circumstances, will spend the timeout at 5 minutes and 31 seconds to go in the first half of play. As number 1, Penn State leads Notre Dame 13-0.
Feel it. Celebrity Eurosport. Something more from today's Chevrolet. Celebrity Eurosport. Drive today's Chevy. Live today's Chevy. Celebrity.
Bring your
golden age like exceptionally smooth Michelob.
Where you're going, it's Michelob.
Joe Paterno, his 36th season at Penn State. 20 as the head man, and he still likes the Saturdays.
Nine in a game that hopefully will be a good, tough, close football game is really exciting for me, and it's something I would miss very much. So I think sometimes the long meetings and getting up early in the morning and looking, you know, the hours and hours of film work, every once in a while I feel like throwing the projector against the wall, but I really thoroughly enjoy the association with the kids, and I really enjoy Saturdays. And I really don't feel I'm ready to give that up.
Keith, he still has that enthusiasm that he had when I first met him 30 years ago. We were both assistants over at Norman, Oklahoma, visiting Bud Wilkinson's spring training.
Yeah, but there are days and there are days to be on the sidelines, and this is not one of the better ones, even though his team is.
Yeah, it is, Keith. You don't mind the rain. When we were ahead in bad weather, I knew it was bad. Didn't know how cold it was or whether it was wet. I'm sure Joe doesn't either. He's so excited about the way his team is performing.
Andrzak gives the ball to Stams, hit in the backfield. Stams fights and can get only back to the line of scrimmage. The first man that hit him was Rogers Alexander.
Well, we've seen Rogers Alexander tackle at the line of scrimmage. We've seen him intercept the pass. And here we see him blitz. And his penetration into the backfield just destroyed the slow developing play to the fullback enough time to give his teammates time to make the tackle.
One of the other things about Joe Paterno not retiring, and it's a very practical thing that he says, I've got a 13-year-old around the house yet, so it's not quite time to quit.
Well, we met his next youngest son, Jay, yesterday and had a nice visit with him.
Third down, close to 12, and the whistles are blowing as Andrzak was rolling out trying to pass, and a penalty flag was thrown in the secondary.
Too much time, Keith.
When they came out into the huddle, they only had about 13 seconds, and they just simply couldn't get the ball off the ground in time. And there again is one of the things that goes with having a new quarterback in the ballgame.
Keith's perfectly right, as he pointed out, that the snap between the center and the second string quarterback, all out of
ball. Delay a game exceeding the 25-second count. Pick down.
It's a little bit different, Keith, and you just have to get acclimated to it. Long yardage. Watch for another interception.
3rd and 17. Quick drop by Andrzak. He does not have anybody to throw to. Now he wings it off over here to Stams, the fullback, and he short hopped it. Ball was underthrown just a little to Frank, and he couldn't come up with it.
Keith, a running quarterback and rolling outside on a wet field is not the most desirable. I think that before, not to put down Andrzak, but as a rule, throwing out of the pocket is much better on a wet day.
And student body right and left is a pretty good play on a wet day, too.
If you can cut back, you'll see a lot of defensive people feet go out from under them, Keith.
Well, we saw Pinkett a while ago. His biggest run was on a sweep.
One thing that Notre Dame kicker's got to be careful here is be sure and catch that wet ball. He was drying his hands.
Yeah, it's raining a little harder now.
Yep. Catch it.
He caught it. Gets it away. Not a bad punt under the circumstances. Back at the 25-yard line. It's Coates with the ball. And Coates will come back up close to the 35. So he got about a 10-yard return at it after a 41-yard punt by Sorensen. There's our schedule for you at halftime. And I want you to see, I want you to watch the tailgate troubadours. Now, if you don't enjoy these guys, you won't enjoy anything in life. They are marvelous. And it's just another little piece of the sum that makes up a football game at Penn State. First down at the 35 for the Lions. And you've got Manoa back in there at fullback now, lined up ahead of DJ Dozier. And Schaefer gives the ball to Dozier. Dozier is still working and finally winds up with about 3 yards.
Just how strong is DJ Dozier? Watch Dorsey, number 71, penetrate right through the line. This is a slow developing play, pulling the guard in the tackle. He gets in front of the tackle, number 74, Clayton, and he's right there. It looks like Dorsey weighs 260, but Dozier is so strong, he does a 360 and picks up yardage.
And it's 2nd down and 7. DJ again. Yard short of the 1st down. From Virginia Beach, Virginia. Interesting that the 2 tailbacks in today's ball game, leading performers for both teams, are both out of Virginia.
The top 3 tailbacks rushes for over 1,000 yards and have for Penn State and have not fumbled all season. Keith, that is extraordinary. Extraordinary.
You probably just jinxed it.
Nope. If they hadn't fumbled, well, of course you are increasing the probability. There's no question about that.
There is a thing called the law of averages. This is Manoa for a 1st down at midfield.
One of the key plays for Penn State has been the fullback slant off tackle. Jim Taylor of the Green Bay Packers, Keith, used to run this better than any player in the history of the game, but it requires blocking by DJ Dozier. 212, the tailback. He puts the Notre Dame in right on the ground. Manoa pops outside for the 1st down. Those heavy-legged backs.
David Clark now is in the backfield for Penn State at tailback, giving Dozier a time to rest a little. Clark is a 195-pounder and a hard runner.
6-yard average per try.
They put him up in a slot and give the ball to Manoa. And Manoa's going to have a couple of 3 yards on that carry as we again go to Jim.
Bo Jackson will still have something to say about the Heisman Trophy, or so he has indicated down between the hedges. After Georgia went ahead of Auburn 10-7 on a James Jackson touchdown run, Bo broke away 67 yards to show you his speed, and this has put Auburn back on top of Georgia 14-10. Back to you, Keith.
They're rattling around between the hedges. And there's a little grudge match there. Schaefer deep with it. It's tipped away. Just barely, intended for Jim Coates, who does the punt returning. He lined up at a flanker spot. Steve Lawrence just got a hand on it.
And Steve Lawrence has a long way to go. Penn State are running 3 receivers deep, keying on the safety Lawrence, looking him over to our left, and then throwing to the right. Look how far Lawrence comes to deflect the ball and prevent the touchdown. At the right of your screen, you see it from another angle. A great play by Lawrence, the safety man, at the right moment.
When that clean shirt shows up, he's really obvious now, isn't he? Back goes Schaefer again to throw. 3rd down and 7. Has all day. Throws complete. The ball is caught by Ray Roundtree, and he's out of bounds at the Irish 10.
If the Notre Dame rushers have very little chance. The footing is so poor that they had no leverage to rush the passer, and Schaefer stands back there forever and ever, long enough for Roundtree to line up on the left hash mark, cross all the way across the middle, get to the far side, but Schaefer, once again, when he has to hit him, he's right on target, and Roundtree has great running ability. Was a quarterback in high school.
Interesting that Schaefer up to that point had been 1 for 7 in the 2nd quarter. But again, he makes the big play when he needs it. Dozier's back in the lineup. Manoa carries the ball. He's inside the 10 to the 9.
Keith, if you had asked me, could Penn State play this effectively on offense under these conditions, I would have said not any way. I don't believe a team in America could. But Penn State has those qualities, that closeness. They're ready to play. They're throwing and running the football. To me, they look like number 1.
1:22 to go in the 1st half.
Boston, you have 2 more minutes for your choice.
We still need a linebacker. What does the computer say?
It says check the master file back at the office. Office? The office. Atlanta, stand by.
Okay, we need a linebacker.
If your business's future depends on information and records, a Hayes modem would help it run smarter.
Coach, computer says Honnesvega, unless Boston hits.
Boston, what's the delay?
Office, Commissioner.
Boston selects Ortega Porpoise.
Say yes to the future with Hayes.
The right parts. Mr. Goodwrench has the right parts for your GM car. Parts that fit. Parts engineered for your car by people who designed your car. Parts for every make and every model of virtually every GM car and light truck on the road today. Mr. Goodwrench can help you keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts, because no one knows your GM car better. No one.
An explosive Big 8 showdown. The second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers tangle with number 6 Oklahoma and their top-ranked defense. CFA coverage begins with college football today, next Saturday.
With 1:22 to go in the first half, Penn State has the ball at the Irish 9. The first down possession started at the 11. They are obviously in scoring position, considering the fact that Micah has hit 2 field goals. They lead 13-0. They have 2 timeouts to work with. Schaefer to Dozier. And Dozier dozes his way to about the 3.
The best play in football, and has been for the 15 years up the middle, is the fake pass and run with a fullback leading on the linebacker. You invite the defensive lineman, Keith, to rush across, turn them to the outside, and when you get Smith leading up in front, or Manoa leading up in front of Dozier, you've got some muscle.
Penn State called the timeout, killing the clock at 1:05. Dozier 13 carries and 73 yards in the ball game.
The difference in this football game has been Penn State's ability to run, Keith. Under these adverse conditions, they're still moving the ball, and they're choosing when they want to throw. Let's go to Timmy Brown. Brad.
Listen, guys, I was doing a little bit of eavesdropping over on the other side of the field behind the Notre Dame bench. They said Steve Berline will come back into the ball game. Steve was there warming his hands, trying to get things ready. They're going to go into their 2-minute offense, obviously, try to throw, try to get things generated. Berline's fired up. I've never seen him show so much emotion. He's hanging by that heater, as I've been doing, too.
Well, Berline's got a problem. In 1, he's got to get the ball back. And 2, they're in serious trouble here of having Penn State jump out to a big halftime lead. And the history is Notre Dame is 1-12 under Gary Faust when they've been behind at halftime. Sort of gloomy facts of life.
I cannot explain, as a coach, I cannot explain why they haven't won more games when they're behind, coming from behind. Most teams can do a pretty good job of it.
This is Dozier. And DJ is maybe at the 2, maybe inside the 2. Good defensive effort flowed that time as they tried to just bang it over the left side. And now Penn State has spent its last time out.
One big advantage right here, Keith, they can make a first down without scoring a touchdown. But the clock, and that will stop the clock if they can make the first down. But it's 4th down. I would look for them to go for the field goal. No, they got, let's see, they have no more timeouts.
No more timeouts.
But he's got a tough decision. He's got 4th down and 1 on the 2-yard line. That is, Schaefer's coming over to tell. So he looked at it and see how far they've got. He's going back to tell Joe Paterno, we've got 1 yard. I say, what do you say, Keith? I say they kick it.
I'd take the 3. That makes it 16. Yep. But I ain't coaching.
Nope, and the reason that they might not is that the snap, you know, under these conditions, although Manka has kicked 2 for 2.
Well, Kisner has been important in that. One of the snaps quite high, but the quarterback was able to get it down, put it on the tee.
They're going for it right here. With no more timeouts, they've got to call 2 plays, I think, Keith. If they make the first down and don't score, they'll call 2 plays.
Well, the clock shows 56 seconds, but I'm not exactly sure that's correct. Official stats now telling us that there may be more time than 56 seconds. But I see no indication from the officials that the time is being kept there. It is being kept there, but that the game clock is wrong. They hand it off inside, and there's your touchdown, Steve Smith.
That is muscle, muscle, muscle. They've got Dozier at 212, Menor at 230, and Smith at 239 carrying the football. Now, that is about the biggest backfield in college football today. 3 big, strong backs running behind that offensive line of Penn State.
And one of the guys up in that offensive front that's really developing into a heck of a player is that Mitch Farrar, the left guard. He is really coming on. Snap is handled, the kick is up, and it's good. And the clock now shows 52 seconds, and Penn State out in front 20-0.
Here's the play again. Formation to the left. They pull the guard, Moles. Then you see that Manoa blocks one, Dozier blocks the other, and Smith turns those shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. There's no stopping. Now watch number 80, the tight end of Notre Dame, of Penn State blocking over there. He's going to make an excellent block. Bob Williams moves him right off the line of scrimmage, and when you get that much movement, that part of the field, you see that the back turns those shoulders, 240 pounds.
Well, being a Georgia Tech graduate, Mr. Broyles, it would seem to me that you would at this point inform everybody as to why Penn State is having so much success in running the football, because it has been said before and has been said historically through the law of physics that a smaller force can move a larger force if the fulcrum is low and there is greater acceleration.
The low man wins, Keith, which we saw. And on that last play, the low man, meaning the player in the line of scrimmage that gets under the shoulder pad of his opponent, he then has leverage, and he can toss him around either way he wants to. We just saw perfect illustration of that.
Penn State will kick off. The Irish have Brown and Miller deep.
Keith, they teach me that at Tech.
I'm sure they tried.
Oh, it was hard.
At the 12, it goes out of bounds. That's Eric Dorsey, the defensive lineman for the Irish. Unmindful of the weather conditions. He has worked hard. He is steamed up. And though it's cold and raining, he welcomes the respite. The ball will come back. They will kick it from the 35. And here's the story on the Nittany Lions scoring drive.
You can see that Penn State has just done about what they want to do. They can run, they can throw, and when you can do that to a defense, they have too much to defend. Penn State, Keith, are throwing by design, not by necessity, but Notre Dame is throwing mostly by necessity. It means that the Penn State team playing for the pass.
I see receivers and backs, defensive backs up on the front for Notre Dame, as if they are expecting perhaps Penn State to go onside with it. Kick it low, laid it flat on the ground, and let it roll around back there, and finally it is picked up by Tim Brown, who almost falls down, but is finally thrown down. The ball comes loose right on the sideline. Penn State claiming it, and that's the way it'll go.
Kenny Brown, a wide receiver, excellent kickoff returner. He heads for the boundary, slips a little bit. See how the ball comes out.
Karpinski's got a hold of him there. Keith Karpinski riding him like a Bronco, and the ball pops out.
Now Penn State has no timeouts, 46 seconds left on the clock.
Eddie Johnson looked like was the man that covered it, number 39 for the Lions. And with 46 seconds, they're back down in scoring territory.
One number that's so impressive, in the last 4 ball games, Penn State has gotten 21 turnovers from the opponents. That's more than 5 a game.
Schaefer trying to load it up and go big, but throws underneath instead, and Dozier can't come down with it.
Keith, let me say that again. Penn State has had an average of over 5 turnovers a game for the last 4 contests. Look what the Irish have done today with their mistakes. A fumble, an interception, a lost on downs have led to what? 1/2 of Penn State points. What do you think is going through Jerry Fowler's mind? Hey, what's happening to me? I didn't expect this. I thought we were ready and confident to play a great football game. Playing against number 1. Not working out that way.
Second down and 10. Schaefer back. Ducks away from the pressure. Now throws it, and it's caught by Hamilton down at the 11-yard line. And a penalty flag goes in the air, and I think he was over the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
The penalty for being over the line is a 5-yard penalty and loss of down. So the ball will be brought back. Keith penalized 5 yards and the loss of down. But once again, now the line of scrimmage seems to be about a foot beyond the 30-yard line, 2 feet beyond the 30-yard line. So let's see if we can detect, notice carefully, exactly where John Schaefer was when he threw the ball. Once again, the poise of Schaefer, steps up in the soft spot, fakes the ball. Very close call. Very questionable, but the official was right there. It was very close, Keith, borderline.
Third down, Penn State.
One thing is they didn't penalize him. Well, I guess they penalized him 4 yards, figuring he was 1 yard beyond the line, even though it didn't look that way. It is loss of down.
It's third down and 14. Schaefer again all day. Away it goes, and it's intercepted. And no, it is not. Ball came squirting out of the hands of number 40, Pat Ballard, the senior from Pueblo, Colorado. Couldn't hold on to it. 8 seconds to go, and here comes Mr. Manka.
Keith, Manka has not missed a field goal of this length this year. His only misses have been at shorter distance.
This one is economy sized.
Well, it's 50.
He's right at 50 yards. It'll go in the book as 49 because the spot's going to be just inside the 40.
He's missed on it that way.
He's 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
He's got enough leg. He made it. Defying the elements, Manka knocks it through. It was virtually 50 yards, but it'll go down, should go down officially as 49 because the ball was spotted inside the 40-yard line.
Keith, this is one of the most perfect first halves of football I've seen any team play in years and years. There's the reaction of the youngster who's been a vital cog. Keith pointed out yesterday that Manka has scored, what,
1/3 of the points.
1/3 of the points of the Penn State team throughout the season.
His mother here from Sardinia watching her son play. And I presume she's still here, though having come from sunny Sardinia to sit in the cold and rain in Happy Valley in Pennsylvania, she may think there's a little somebody's demented about this whole thing. It might be a little difficult for someone from there to grasp. But they are loyal here, fiercely loyal. And I'm now seeing some indication that folks are going out of the ballpark for some dry spot during the halftime. Onside kick. Ball just rolling, squibbed down there, rolls dead, finally picked up. And time is gone in the first half of play as the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame are in trouble. Penn State leads them 23-0. Now Tim Brandt with Coach Paterno.
All right, I'd say you're a little bit excited. Start ahead in the locker room.
We almost blew that last field goal if John Schaefer didn't go up the line of scrimmage and start the operation. Got me a little upset, and I was a little upset with the clock operation. But other than that, we're playing very aggressive football. Notre Dame's made some mistakes. You know, tough day.
What was it about the clock operation that upset you?
Well, I thought they started the clock before they had marked the first down stick.
With a 20-point lead, 23-point lead, with this weather, how do you approach the second half? Do you stay as aggressive?
No, we're gonna go after them. We have to. We can't sit on it. I'm just Notre Dame's a very explosive football team. Pinkett can make a big play anytime he gets his hands on the football. We've got to play as if we're behind.
Very quickly before you go, any way to anticipate your team would play this well?
Well, I thought we'd play well, but we still got another half to play, Tim.
Okay, good luck second half, Joe. All right, so Penn State with a 23-point lead at the half will stay just as aggressive the second half.
CFA College Football. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Mr. Goodwrench. Keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts. And by Team Xerox, the right products and right people all working together. We'll be back with our halftime activity after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
When Elliott took over as manager, the Southport office was considered exceptionally sloppy and unproductive. So Elliott called in Team Xerox, who studied his documents and recommended a solution, including Xerox memory writers for perfect letters and the 1090 Marathon, the most productive copier in the world. Now, the Southport office is exceptional for something else.
Dramatic turnaround of the year at the Southport office.
Saturday, those hot Hollywood nights
The cop doesn't suspect a thing.
can turn pretty cold when the forecast is murder.
Without us, you're dead.
On the Hollywood beat, then
Move, sport, and the game's called on a kind of darkness.
Lady Blue is back.
3 weird, crazy homicides in 72 hours.
Lady Blue is heating up the streets.
Have we got any leads, a suspect, a name?
Lady Blue, now after Hollywood beats.
Tonight.
Have a good trip. Call me tonight.
Big jet plane coming out of the sky. You got your Avis Wizard card, now you're gonna fly. Avis makes it easy, easy on the traveler, yeah. Meeting with the top man, quick lunch, shake some hands, you're gonna move.
Avis tries harder to get you in and out fast, and our super value rates are easy on your wallet.
Avis makes it easy, easy on the traveler, yeah.
I'm calling person to person.
Avis, so easy.
Running smooth and silent, Exxon, Exxon. Running strong and sure, Exxon, Exxon. Running smooth and easy, running with the tiger.
Across America, people count on Exxon Extra, our highest octane unleaded premium ever. It quiets knocks and pings for smooth performance.
Running smooth and easy, with the tiger, Exxon.
Joe Piscopo meets John DeVella, 7:30 tonight. The Prudential Halftime Report is being brought to you by the Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and financial services. The Prudential, the rock. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
All right, 7 teams began the day with a chance to win the national championship. As of this moment, the bubble has burst for 2 of them. Not for second-ranked Nebraska. The Huskers lead Kansas 56-6 in the 4th quarter. They are doing it every different kind of way. But Ohio State has seen its national championships fold. Wisconsin beat the Buckeyes for the 4th time in 5 years, 12-7 at Columbus. And now, Ohio State has surrendered the inside track to the Rose Bowl to Iowa. More on that in a moment. Another place where national championship hopes go out the window is at Air Force. BYU, just moments ago, wrapped up a 28-21 victory over the Falcons. The Falcons missed on a chance to score from the 7-yard line at in the closing seconds. But here was the key play. With a little over 5 minutes to go in the game, Robbie Bosco hit by Sikahema for 69 yards, and this touchdown pass snapped the 21-21 tie. Sikahema in the 3rd quarter had gotten BYU going with a 72-yard punt return. So he was the key factor in a 28-21 victory for BYU, which means the Cougars can retain their streak of having won or tied for the WAC championship every year for 9 years coming into this one. 5th-ranked Iowa leads Purdue 24-17 in the 3rd quarter. Good battle between Long and Everett. Much can still happen in that game. Oklahoma, 6th-ranked, getting another big game from Jamel Holloway and leads Colorado 24-0 in the 4th quarter. Michigan pounded Minnesota 48-7. Jim Harbaugh with another brilliant day today to go with the great one that he had last week. Oklahoma State trailed Missouri early, scored 3 touchdowns in less than 2 minutes, or a little over 2 minutes in the first half. Now hanging on by the skin of its teeth, 21-19, Oklahoma State over Missouri in the 4th quarter. Army beat Memphis State 49-7. The Black Knights of the Hudson moved to 8-2 as Healy had a big day at quarterback. South Carolina got revenge for the loss to Navy that knocked them out of the Orange Bowl last year, winning a wild one, 34-31. Syracuse beat Boston College 41-21. Scotch Beatty's 249 yards receiving broke the school record, which had been held by Art Monk. West Virginia beat Temple 23-10. Temple played without Paul Palmer, out with an ankle injury. Florida got a field goal in the last 20 seconds to come back and beat Kentucky 15-13. The Gators got big days from both Neil Anderson and Kerwin Bell. Auburn and Georgia, it is 17-7. Auburn on top at halftime. They have a long touchdown run of 67 yards from Bo Jackson. Also a Wygand touchdown on a reverse. Tennessee beat Mississippi 34-14. If the Volunteers can go on to beat Kentucky and Vanderbilt, they will go to the Sugar Bowl. They won with alternating quarterbacks, Dickey and a freshman named Jeff Francis today. Alabama trailed Southern Mississippi 13-10 entering the 4th quarter. A Shula touchdown pass put them ahead, and now they have won it at 24-13. Virginia Tech saw the 40,000 kazoos at halftime at Vanderbilt, which will put them in the Guinness Book of World Records, but beat the Bandy Commodores 38-24. Maryland is trying to come back against Clemson. Clemson now leading 24-17 in the third quarter. The Tigers have blocked 2 Maryland punts down in Death Valley. Georgia Tech, maybe the best team in the ACC, beat Wake Forest 41-10 today. Virginia beat North Carolina 24-22. Barry Word, 33 carries, 170 yards. He has gained more yardage in a season than Frank Quayle or Bullet Bill Dudley or any Cavalier running back ever. Duke snapped the 6-game losing streak, beat North Carolina State 31-19. Bowling Green moves to 10-0 on the season, a 21-0 winner over Toledo, clinching the Mid-American Conference Championship for those Falcons. Michigan State 32-0 over Northwestern. Lorenzo White, nation's leading rusher, 30 carries, 150 yards, and 2 TDs. Indiana and Illinois, it's 34-24 Illini in the fourth quarter. Iowa State, Kansas State tied up at 14-14 in the fourth quarter. Rice at Baylor, and Rice is down to its 6th or 5th quarterback of the year. Baylor leads them only 17-10 in the third quarter. Texas just got a 74-yard touchdown run from Eric Metcalf, son of Terry, lead TCU 17-0 in the fourth. SMU got a 57-yard field goal from Brandy Brownlee with 4 minutes to go and beat Texas Tech 9-7. UCLA has seen John Lee miss 2 field goals, his first misses of the year after 22 in a row, but they lead 10-0 over Oregon State. And Southern Cal and Washington came into today's game with their worst collective record for that meeting in 27 years. Right now, the Huskies lead the Trojans 13-10 in the third. We'll be back with more after this.
It's a jungle. That's how it feels when you're searching for life insurance. The natives don't speak your language. You feel lost, in the dark, scared. But there is a sign of civilization. With Prudential, your agent will explain things clearly and work with you until you have a piece of the rock you feel comfortable with. No wonder more people choose Prudential for life insurance than any other company. You'll feel right by the rock. Prudential Life Insurance.
The rock we trust with our lives is on the move. The Prudential is now bigger than any real estate investor, bigger than the biggest stockbroker. Today, it's big enough for almost every financial need, from insurance to stocks and bonds and everything in between. The rock, the Prudential. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
For college football, former Georgia quarterback Fran Tarkenton.
Since I graduated from the University of Georgia in 1961, my life has taken many twists: professional football, a television career, a business career. The scholarship that I received at the University of Georgia back in those years provided me with an education that gave me the foundation and the start to accomplish these things in life after college.
College football. It's doing a lot of good.
The preceding message has been provided by the College Football Association.
On a chilly, rainy day in the Nittany Mountains, Penn State is chilling Notre Dame. It is 23-0 in favor of the #1 ranked Nittany Lions at halftime. If you were with us today for College Football Today in pregame, you saw the second installment of our 5-part series on the difficulties of intercollegiate football, college football turmoil or turning point. Next week, be with us for installment number 3, when I will be interviewing 2 prominent athletic directors for their input on what solutions might exist to the problems of intercollegiate football. And now, while many stations break away for local news and information, we'll continue from here with more halftime activities. Tennessee hasn't beaten Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt in the same year since 1978, but if the Volunteers can turn the trick this year, Johnny Majors will go to the Sugar Bowl for the first time since returning to Knoxville. And today, Doug Flutie, 17th-ranked Tennessee, got a well-balanced effort in beating Ole Miss.
They really did. Sam Henderson taking it in from 1 yard out, got Tennessee on the board and took a 7-0 lead.
But then in the second quarter, Ole Miss came back on a 1-yard run by Sean Sykes, dragging Volunteer defenders to the goal line. That tied it up at 7-7. From here, it was all Tennessee, alternating 2 quarterbacks today.
Jeff Francis throwing this one for the touchdown to the tight end, Tim Hendricks, put him up 17-7 and in control of the game. They decided to alternate quarterbacks. Darrell Dickey was the other quarterback. There he is handing off again to Henderson, and that one put it out of reach 24-7.
Now here's a look at a Dickey touchdown pass. Tim McGee heads an outstanding fleet of receivers for the Volunteers.
He really does. McGee makes a nice grab here, coming back for the ball and pulling it in over his shoulder. Dickey gets into the aerial game as well.
And then we saw Mark Young at quarterback for Ole Miss. Kent Austin has had injury problems all year. Young hitting this 19-yard touchdown pass to J.R. Ambrose. 34-14. Tennessee is the winner in that game. And what a job Johnny Majors has done this year with a team that lost your early season Heisman Trophy candidate, Tony Robinson.
Tony Robinson, outstanding athlete, outstanding quarterback. A team loses a guy like that, but bounces right back. You got to give credit to Johnny Majors. The team has really come together. They've got 2 quarterbacks now, Dykes and then the freshman Francis, and they're going to make it happen.
All right. Darrell Dickey, of course, is the quarterback who is the son of the athletic director, Doug Dickey, who came back to Tennessee after having left there as head coach years ago and gone to Florida. And now, of course, Doug Dickey can watch his son, Darrell Dickey, perhaps play in the Sugar Bowl because Tony Robinson will not be back this year for the Volunteers. Now look at next week's games here on ABC.
An explosive Big 8 showdown. The second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers tangle with number 6 Oklahoma and their top-ranked defense. CFA coverage begins with College Football Today next Saturday.
Quickly, the Ivy League, Harvard has put itself in position to win the championship, snapping Penn's 13-game win streak in the league 17-6. Princeton beat Yale 21-12, only the second Tiger win in that game in the last 19 years. Brown shut out Dartmouth for the first time since '59, 22-0. Columbia at Cornell, it is 21-8, favor of the Big Red. We'll be back with more halftime activities after these commercial messages.
Some investors who thought oil was the only answer came up dry. They've seen that tying up all their money in banks isn't always in their best interest. And that following the takeover fad of the moment can lead to slim pickings. More and more, the ambitious investor is following Prudential Bates, whose rock-solid investment strategy is leading the way to the future. Prudential Bates Securities. Follow a leader.
Daddy, their ship has come in!
Sure. Find the holes in your homeowner's insurance before they find you.
Sorry to barge in.
Have a Prudential representative give you a fast, free Pru review of your coverage.
Are we covered? For this?
If you had a Pru review, you'd know.
Get a Pru review from the Prudential and get a piece of the rock.
Doesn't look like Bermuda to me.
We've got a big meet today. I want you to go over here and warm
For
up.
college football, former Auburn quarterback Bill Tucker.
I was playing football at Auburn when I contracted polio. Auburn kept me on a scholarship, and I earned my education. For the past 35 years, I've been teaching, coaching, and working with young people, trying to pass on what football taught me.
College football. It's doing a lot of good. The preceding message has been provided by the College Football Association.
Penn State playing number 1, leads 23-0 over Notre Dame. And looking some of the highlights here in the first half, it was that lofted, touchdown pass to D.J. Dozier by John Schaefer that got him started.
The key as we look behind the offense, Keith, on a pass like this is protection. Excessive time, and the line of Penn State has been giving John Schaefer, number 14, all the time that he wants. And with that much time and no rush, he can float the ball in with tissue paper to the back. Dozier coming out of the backfield for the TD.
Now on a 3rd and long play, Roundtree, the speedster, will angle all the way across the field for 38 yards. A big play also.
Notre Dame having 2 defensive linemen in the ball game are not putting any pressure. The footing is a problem, and once again, excessive time. Roundtree came all the way across, and Notre Dame could not defend with that much time for the quarterback.
And the half ended with Massimo Manca, and what they have now said officially is a 50-yard field goal.
Well, the kicking game, as we said earlier, on a day like this, has to be important. And I guess he's had, what, 3, Keith? And we said earlier that in a game like this, the kicking game will be so important. But the running game, I think, is the most significant thing about the ball game for Penn State, rushing with those big backs. The 2 fullbacks, Lenore and Smith, and the tailback Dozier, have just eaten up the yardage, nearly 100 yards on this type of field.
Now I'd like to have you meet Joe, George, Dave, Bob, and Bill. They are from Lewistown, Pennsylvania, They call themselves the Tailgate Troubadours.
Hello to everybody. Hello to everyone. We are here to spread good cheer with songs and bits of fun. Let's start the ball a-rolling, singing some harmony. We're the Tailgate Troubadours. We love it when Penn State scores. Hello to everyone. We are happy when we play fraternal football every day. We are Nittany Lions. Oh, when we pass our children, swinging hands and down. We are Nittany Lions. We can play in any kind of weather. Don't you know the ball is made of leather? We score touchdowns every day when we play fraternal play. Nittany Lions are we. From the Terrapins in Maryland to the Panthers out in Pittsburgh, they know we're Nittany Lions. Ohio State and Syracuse only try to light our views. They know we're Nittany Lions. And FNU and TCU and Temple only set the stage as an example. Because we play fraternal way. Penn State's #1 today. Nittany Lions are we. We're the Lions with the biggest roar in town.
I believe that may be the most likable group of people I've ever seen in my life. They are just terrific. The Tailgate Troubadours.
The Prudential Halftime Report was sponsored by the Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and financial services. The Prudential, the rock. It's strong. It's on the move. It's bigger than life.
What do you do when you already build one of the best production sports cars in the world? If you're Nissan, you build it even better. Introducing the new Nissan 300ZX. Sleeker, sharper, slicker, hotter, awesome. The new 300ZX, one of the best sports cars in the world, just got better. The name is Nissan.
The human hand. It's not flat, it's curved. And now finally, there's a glove built around it. Finally, from Wells Lamont, Grips. The only all-purpose leather glove with a patented pre-curved design for a comfortable grip that just won't give. Grips from Wells Lamont. Look for Wells Lamont gloves at the sign of the mule.
Hello, Rusty Jones.
Hi, I'm Rusty Jones, and I'll keep your new car looking great with my Car Saver system. I'll work day and night, no vacations, not even a coffee break, protecting it inside and out. Then your car will be here in the promised land of Rusty Jones cars, where cars are worth more because they always look great. Let your new car dealer show you the way.
Ride with Rusty, good old Rusty. Ride with Rusty Jones.
I'll stay with you.
CFA College Football. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. And by Nissan, builders of technologically advanced cars and trucks for over 50 years.
We go to the second half of play at Beaver Stadium on the campus of Pennsylvania State University, with Notre Dame in trouble against Penn State. And we check in now with Jim Lampley.
In Alabama. Yeah. Shula what?
122 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Let's see. The final score, Florida
Well, we didn't get that particular report, but I understand that the Air Force BYU ball game is either nearing completion or has been completed. And Brigham Young defeated Air Force in the ball game. Now, as the teams come back on the field, here's Coach Jerry Faust with Tim Brent.
You're down 23 points. Sloppy conditions continues to reign. How do you come back?
Well, we had an opportunity to come back because of the weather conditions. We just got to play good, solid defense this half and get the ball across the goal line. We made some mistakes out there, and they capitalized on them, and that's what happens in this weather. So now we got to make sure we capitalize on their mistakes.
You start to see Berline?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Keith.
Thank you, Timmy. You're holding up pretty well.
It's cold.
Janet will fill you up on hot chocolate and chicken soup when you get home. You'll be all right. You have to be an optimist to figure you can come back against a team like Penn State from being down 23 points. Of course, as Jerry indicated, this is the kind of weather in which mistakes can happen. But so far, Penn State has not made any. I think you had a perfect comment going into the halftime, Frank, when you said that was 30 minutes of almost perfect football by Penn State.
I agree, Keith, and I repeat, it was the most impressive first half I've seen in a long time. But you talk about impressive. The game next week is going to bring two of the greatest coaches in this country, Tom Osborne's Nebraska team and Barry Switzer's Oklahoma team. Both teams explosive, great runners. Dubose went over the 1,000-yard mark last week. The 2,000-yard mark, career-wise. Oklahoma just tearing people up with their wishbone attack.
Going to be some football game in Norman, Oklahoma.
I would think Oklahoma will move up. We're probably talking about
2 and 3.
2 and 3, yeah. Right now, Penn State looks to have a lock on #1 for at least one more week.
Well, they've deserved it, Keith. They've done whatever. I asked one of the coaches, what's the strength of this team? And they said the closeness of the players. And, you know, Keith, I've learned the hard way. Sometimes when you've had a poor season, then you rally and you get together and you come back stronger than ever the next year. One undefeated team that we had, we were 5-5 the year before, and we came back and won 11-0 the next year. You just rally and come back together, and that's what football is all about.
And we're ready to go as Massimo Manca will kick off to Notre Dame. He keeps it low, keeps it on the ground, rolling around in the water. It is picked up short by Mark Green. And Mark Green, a speedster, trying to get across the field, is knocked down at the 26. Bob White, defensive end, 235 pounds. Mike Russo, 260 at tackle, had that big touchdown run against BC. Tim Johnson, the other tackle, 250, and Don Graham, the other end, 240. Shane Conlon at linebacker. Trey Bowers inside at backer. And Rogers Alexander is the other inside man. And Alexander had a big first half. Berline opens at quarterback for Notre Dame as they come out with Alan Pinkett and Frank Stams, pretty much the same offensive alignment that started the ball game. And Notre Dame received to start the game as well as start the second half of play. Sometimes when you've got that good defense, you just soon the other folks have the ball on a wet day. Duffy Cobbs is one corner for Penn State. Lance Hamilton plays the other corner. And the safeties, strong man is Michael Zordich, and the free safety is Ray Isom.
If you sound like Bobby Dodd on a wet day like this, he would say, let them have the ball on their own 20. We'll score before they will.
And that's exactly the way it's worked so far in this game. Berline drops back to throw on second down, shoots it into Ward. Reggie Ward, a sophomore out of Long Beach, California, takes it right in his tummy at the 35-yard line, and he's a little more than a yard short of the first down. The offense, as we told you, pretty much the same that started the ball game. In fact, it is the same that started the game for the Irish. We're now in the third quarter of play, and Massimo Manca totals 11 of the 23 points that Penn State has in this ball game. And coming into this game, the place kicker had scored 33% of their total points. So he's ahead of his pace. On third down and short, they give the ball to Alan Pinkett. And the young man from Sterling, Virginia, goes for the first down at the 39-yard line. They handled Pinkett pretty well in the first half.
Keith, the reason I think is that Pinkett has the ability to run in quickness, and you can see the mud on those uniforms. There's just no footing. Pickett was 9 out of 44. Last year in this game, he was 34 for 189. That's what he just done today.
Upman stands the fullback. Big fella spins away, and he runs well when he gets into the open field. Don Graham finally wrestles him down after he picks up some 7 yards.
That's the one thing that Notre Dame needs, Keith, is for Stams to really turn it loose today. You've already mentioned he weighs 230. The heavy-legged players are the ones that do the best on a field like this, and he could be a big help to Notre Dame.
It's the second down and a long 3. As Berline drops the throw on second down, goes deep down the middle with it for Brown. It's picked off by Ray Isom. Second interception for Penn State, and Isom brings the Lions well back up the field. He's still going. He's got some help now, and from behind he is caught and thrown down by Tim Brown. He comes all the way back to the 32-yard line of Notre Dame.
Just tremendous defensive play. 3 deep. Isom, number 22, 2 interceptions. You throw the ball deep down the middle on a dry day. It's difficult. He overthrows the receiver, and Isom just picks it off. Miller misses him right there. Isom makes a fine return. Once again, the Penn State defense taking advantage of a mistake. Brown finally throws him to the ground.
Call it the 33. Actually, it's closer there. Give it a D.J. Dozier, and Dozier got tangled up a little bit as he and Manoa locked legs. He was trying to bounce outside and didn't quite make it. Eric Dorsey, 270-pounder, played a great first half. Jeff Kuntz, 250, 6'6". Cedric Figueroa, 6'3", 230. Robert Banks is 6'5", 235. The inside backers are Mike Pawlewski, 6'2", 220, and Tony Perjanik, 6'2", 230. Mike Larkin is that 5th linebacker that's been playing in the ball game at 6'1" and 220. Wally Klein showed up for a brief time coming off an injured knee. Played some in relief of Dorsey. This is Manoa going outside. And on second down and 7, Manoa's going to pick up a couple of yards. Troy Wilson is a cornerback for the Irish, 5'11" and 180. Mike Haywood, the other corner, at 5'11" and 180. The safeties are Pat Ballage, number 40, 6'2", 200, and Steve Lawrence at 6 feet and 195. The offensive unit for Penn State, the same that started the ball game. Schaefer at quarterback, having a big day. Keith Radisek starting today at center for Penn State, ahead of Smith. Third down and about 6. As Schaefer stands around, waiting and waiting, and finally they break down the protection, and he gets his shoulders turned upfield, and there's a pretty good collision off the field of play, and a penalty flag follows it, and Mike Haywood came across and hit him a little too late.
Schaefer, big and strong, jumps right up. It was a strong collision, out of bounds. It appeared from this point it's be a 15-yard penalty. Let's see. Schaefer's trying to get out of bounds. And the headgear, I don't know whether he called the headgear as the weapon or whether it was a tackle out of bounds. I believe it was just out of bounds, Keith. Could have been either. Half the distance to the goal, put it on the 12 and a half.
William McDonald out of Lexington, Massachusetts is the referee.
Well, now you better bring the ball back. The referee's made a mistake. Only half the
Dead
distance.
ball foul. Late hit, out of bounds, defense, first down.
Well, he penalized them. Keith, oh, he put it on the 12. I'm wrong. Yep. He put it on the 12 and a half. I just can't see.
Well, it's dark.
And muddy.
First down for Penn State. This is Dozier. Inside the 10. Up. He bounced to the 8, but they'll mark him at the 9.
One thing that you would like to have in a game like this is a big, strong defensive lineman. Notre Dame has had a lot of theirs injured. Playing with 2 instead of 3 or 4 on this day has hurt them. Couldn't do anything about it, though. Now they've got 3 in the ball game at least. That'll help a little bit on this end of the field, this part of the field.
A whole lot of folks have gone home. See the taillights glimmering down the highway. Dozier spins her out inside to about the 6. Make it the 7.
Dozier has given this Penn State team a big boost, Keith. He missed 2.5 ball games early in the season. They weren't the same football team as they are today because Dozier is one of the great backs in America. And all outstanding football teams that I have ever seen have outstanding backs, at least one, as he trots off the field. But that's what he's done today on a muddy, muddy turf.
Got the big backs in there, Manoa and Smith, the 2 big fullbacks. Notre Dame encroaches on the play. Schaefer's got a free one, throws it, and the pass is caught inside the 5 by Steve Smith coming out of the backfield.
The play was not successful for the first down, so Penn State will accept the penalty and go back to third in about 2.5, I guess, Keith.
Looks like a
2. Yeah. Notre Dame continues to be overly eager, trying to make up, do something big, and when you do, you get in trouble, Keith. Been there. You just over effort, over try and make mistakes when you do.
You have 10 minutes and 21 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, and Penn State here could have a door slammer if they stick it in the end zone.
Well, they've played as near perfect football. That Penn State has been averaging 2 turnovers a game for the last 5 games, but they've been getting over 5 from their opponents. And capitalizing, as Keith has very properly pointed out, when they
offside, defense, 3rd down, repeated, half yard.
When Penn State gets a turnover, Keith, they put points on the scoreboard.
Looking at the folks down there on the field, the only thing that I can think of, and I know it's crass commercialism, but I sure would like to have the soap concession.
That shower is going to feel good for all those players.
It certainly is. 3rd down, the ball is just inside the 4. They go to the up man, Manoa, and the surge behind the offensive line should have the first down. It might be a tad close considering how that linesman has marked it on this side.
Well, let's analyze the Penn State offense, which has been a little bit in the line this year, Keith. Most of the credit's been given to the defense. They are coming along just about the way they did in '82. You know, they started slowly, even with Warner as the tailback.
He did not make the first down.
Oh, they big and strong, they'll go for it. They did last time under these conditions, I would think.
Ladies and gentlemen, head coach Joe Paterno and the Nittany Lions salute Penn State's new
But the Penn State team, Keith, if we'll go back to '82, started slowly offensively. Finally got the wheels together and started to explode and became one of the best offensive teams I've seen in college football. Blackledge was the quarterback, Jackson and Garrity.
Well, that just goes to show you right there, you don't let them just eyeball it. They got that 10 yards of chain out there for a reason, right?
That's correct, and you're entitled to a measurement anytime that it's reasonable. Obviously, that was reasonable.
I would say so. My gosh, instead of being 4th down, it's 1st and goal at the 3. Here goes Smith to about the 1.
For the Lions, number 33, Smith.
Tim Manoa had thrown a block on the corner, wound up upside down, spinning on his helmet. Now he's got to reach in there and fetch all the mud out so he can see where he is, and he finally gets it cleaned out.
Keith, we've talked about the backs for Penn State. Let's just make notice of some of the offensive linemen. 2 new tackles playing today, Morgan, number 59, and Clayton, number 74, starting for the first time in their career. Just doing an outstanding job along with the other linemen.
In the middle, the surge touchdown. John Schaefer will get this one.
Well, he deserves it, Keith. His performance today has been outstanding. Go on with that offensive line. Keith Radisek, the center, is playing in place of Rob Smith, the starter. Here's the surge. Who wins at 6 inches? Who gets low, Keith?
That's right.
The low man has the leverage, and he pushes him back. Touchdown resulting.
Of course, to re-emphasize the point you made about Schaefer, he is 6'3" and weighs 210 pounds, so he can be a load himself.
Absolutely. A good player to run the sneak on from the short yard.
Manka's extra point is good. So with 8 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the third quarter, it's now a 30-0 game.
For the average renter, the 5-door Mercury Lynx has plenty of room. And it's only $29.95 a day. At budget. But budget has another car. One that's more my style. The Lincoln Town Car. Look at this headroom. And even us big shots like budget small price. Only $39.95 a day. Get the economy of luxury. Or the luxury of economy. Go to budget and say, the car. Oh, the car.
Introducing the amazing Notre Maxim, the world's easiest SLR, because it alone has built-in automatic focusing. Look, Maxim's autofocus lets you get perfect shots before others can even focus. Change lenses. Maxim again gets the shots that used to get away.
Only the human eye focuses faster.
Minolta Maxim.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
Off to their best start in 17 years, the New York Giants are tied for the lead in the NFC East. They face their division rivals, the Washington Redskins, on ABC's Monday Night Football, live at 9 Eastern.
Well, here is your penultimate challenge now for the Irish.
What kind of challenge?
The hardest kind.
Okay, that sounds better to me.
Down 30-0.
Oh, boy.
Their dignity is being kicked around in the mud right now. Their own mistakes have gotten them in trouble, and Penn State has really turned the screws on them. They lead 30-0. And you've got Brown and Miller deep now to return the kickoff, as you see the stats on the touchdown march after the interception. And here's the ball on the ground, rolling around. Greasy Pig picked up by Alvin Miller. And Miller fights beyond the 30 to the 31. There they would start. And who's coming out? Berline, I would guess. Yes, he will. Some of the other scores from around the country. Tennessee still on the way to the Sugar Bowl. They lost Robinson, but Dickey stepped in and done a fine job. And Donahue's defensive bunch playing better and better and better.
Well, Darrell Dickey was born in Fayetteville, Arkansas, when Doug Dickey was coaching with me.
First down for the Irish as Berline drops back and gets his pass away to the sideline. Batted down and almost picked off by Rogers Alexander.
Stanley Muck of Duke had a great game, Keith, as Duke upset North Carolina State. Lorenzo White, 150 yards, Keith. He had, 275 last week. Unbelievable year he's had. That's a close game. SMU, Edge and Tech.
On second down and 10 here for the Irish. Pinkett has been held in check so far today. He's got the ball right now, and he'll pick up maybe 6 on that carry out near the 38.
The Penn State defense just does their job, don't they, Keith? They don't, nothing fancy. They play the most basic secondary coverage in America that has been in college football since, I guess, 1900, 3 deep secondary, just back there to play the ball, occasionally going into a 4 deep secondary to double cover the wide receivers, but mostly basic football, improving every game.
Berline rolling with pressure after him, throws on the run, and this one is intercepted by Michael Zordich. And Zordich is going to bring it back big. Finally down at the 50, a penalty flag comes out, and I think you got a face mask call coming here against Notre Dame. That is the 4th turnover for the Irish.
It's easy to build a tough truck, real easy. All you got to do is give it a 5-speed transmission, independent front suspension, steel belted radials, welded double wall bed, and a standard engine with power no other leading compact can beat. The hard part is doing it for a $59.99 sticker price. Only Nissan can do it. For a truck this tough, $59.99 is dirt cheap.
The name is Nissan.
Bigger engines were easy on oil. But today's smaller, higher revving engines are tougher. They begin to break down an oil's viscosity within 1,500 miles. That's why there's Castrol. Tests show Castrol suffers no significant loss of viscosity even after 5,000 miles. So use Castrol, because if you make things too hard on your engine could make things hard on you. Castrol, engineered for smaller cars.
Matt Kisner is now in at quarterback for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Joe Paterno had said yesterday that he wanted to play him in this ball game. He would pick the spot for him because every time he has put him in a game, he has produced. And I guess his biggest play may well have been the play he made against Alabama, huh?
That was the bootleg on 4th down and 1. He came in for a hurt, injured Schaefer, took the snap, the only play he played up to that time, and bootleg to the right and hit the receiver for the touchdown.
David Clark is now the tailback with Smith at fullback, and Matt Kisner in at quarterback. He's a junior from Youngwood, Pennsylvania. And the ball is given to Smith. Smith will pick up about 3 yards. Well, as noted earlier, that Air Force was defeated today at BYU. Though they got out to a 21-7 lead, 14-0 and then 21-7. They wound up losing 28-21. And South Carolina winning one today from Navy, though Nat McCallum had a pretty good day. 2nd down and 7 here for Penn State. This is Clark. He's hard to handle. He's a good, tough runner. He's close to a 1st down as we go to Jim Lampley.
All right, Nebraska, for the 17th year in a row, has won 9 games or more, beating Kansas today 56-6. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, 6th ranked in UPI, got its first shutout since '81, beating Colorado 31-0. With the number 3 team having lost and the number 4 team having lost and the number 5 team tied up right now, there's every chance you'll be seeing number 2 against number 3 when we bring you Nebraska, Oklahoma nationally next week here on ABC Sports. And Keith, you'll be doing it. Have a good time.
Hopefully you're luckier with the weather next week than we have been today. As far as the game, I expect it'll be just like it always is with the Huskers and the Sooners have at it. It is a 1st down for Penn State. So the Lions and Bowling Green, I guess, will be the only undefeated 1A teams when this day is done.
Brian McClure, the great quarterback for Bowling Green, Keith, is 6'6" and is just having a sensational year. Big, tall quarterback. Can throw the football.
I'm reminded by Dave Burnson that Fresno State has a tie, but no losses. Matt Kisner rolls it out. Want to take off with it. And pick up about 5 yards before he's lassoed by Cedric Figaro from Lafayette, Louisiana. Well, Auburn and Georgia, still a contest down in Athens. And Baylor now putting Rice away in the Southwest Conference. And the Hogs and the Aggies will go tonight, huh?
They go tonight? Yes, Keith. At Aggie Land, big ball game. Both teams having good years.
Penn State playing a flawless game today in bad weather on a soft field against Notre Dame and dominating. This is Clark. And they'll just do this until Notre Dame either gets run out of town or else they're can stun enough or blitz enough to stop them, because
there goes the flag.
Flag again. Yep. So somebody probably said something here or got tangled up over there. Frustration now beginning to surface, I think. They didn't say something. They did something.
Frustration just coming out, Keith. You hate to see the players lose their poise, even though it's a one-sided game. It's not like Notre Dame.
That's a big nail, 15-yarder.
Dead ball foul. Personal foul. Defense, first down.
First down, Penn State.
Keith, I don't know how you could have everything go wrong like Notre Dame has in a football game. Turnovers, interceptions, penalties at the wrong time, just everything against them. Plus Penn State's great play.
Yeah. Well, it's been going bad for them. The other side is playing a near-perfect football game as David Clark slices over the left side, runs into Tony Frajanic, and is brought down after about 3 yards. And now Andrzejczyk is warming up for Notre Dame, and Terry will probably be in to run the next offensive series.
One thing that's hurt Notre Dame's chances this year, Keith, was the injury to Burline, their starting quarterback for the last year and a half. When he got hurt and had to have an operation, he hasn't been the same since, but here are the mistakes. You can see what it's done to Notre Dame's chances. The team that makes the fewest mistakes usually wins.
On second down, the surge is to about the 10 with big fullback Smith carry. Well, Jerry Faust is going to go home now with his football team, and the Monday morning papers by that time will be rife again with stories of his departure, I am sure.
Keith, repeat again, Gene Corrigan, the athletic director, convinced me that the decision will not be made until after the season, and Jerry Faust still had a chance to keep his job.
It doesn't stop the media. DJ Dozier is back into the ball game as Kisner sets up and whips one to the end zone, incomplete. It was intended for Ray Roundtree.
Keith, we've been looking back. Dave Verson has what's the worst defeat by Notre Dame. We go back to 1972. Nebraska beat them 42-6. Roundtree is right in between the linebackers, and Haywood comes right in, makes Kisner throw the ball low into the outside, and it's incomplete.
And in comes Manka now for a field goal try. He has he has 12 points now so far in the ball game with the extra point conversion. This will make it 15 points for him today, and he's got it. So at 4:07 to go in the third quarter, it is now 33-0 Penn State.
Hold on tight, let it flow, feels so right, here we go. Honda ATV gets ya where you wanna be. Honda ATV gets you where the fun is.
Honda makes a complete line of ATVs for doing all kinds of things, especially having all kinds of fun.
Honda ATV gets you where the fun is.
When you're dealing with higher volumes of information and need answers fast, you search everywhere for solutions.
Quarter of play.
You know, when we did the Navy game, we commented that Notre Dame defense, because of injuries, wasn't playing with the same strength and muscle that the Notre Dame teams of the past.
They seemingly have been overmatched here today. This is Alden Miller, hit at the 20, and comes on ahead to about the 23. Penn State has now scored on 6 straight possessions. Either field goal or touchdown.
That is incredible under any condition. I think, Keith, the superb, remarkable performance, but under these conditions, I think it's just outstanding and a credit to the leadership, the character of this Penn State football team.
Burline is back at quarterback. Andrzejczyk is not in there. He was warming up, but did not come. As Burline dropped straight back, the Irish trailing. They've got to go to the pass. Burline is considered the better passer, and he short hops that one in front of Frank Stamms. And here is a wet Tim Brandt.
Keith, you said it felt like an endless day for these Notre Dame people, where there was some enthusiasm down here for the first half, even in the third quarter. There is none now. There's a lot of hanging heads. Everybody now starting to feel the weather, get around these heaters a little bit. I was in a situation very similar to this at the University of Maryland before Jerry Claiborne came in. Roy Lester came out of high school to coach, and when you get down late in the season, you're losing like this, it's inevitable. No matter how you try to motivate yourself or block it out, you just can't do it. All these players now know what the situation is, and they're feeling it, no matter how badly they try to get it out of their minds.
All right, Kenny, here's Alan Pinkett running the ball out to about the 26 at 3:50 to go in the third quarter, and here's Jim.
Down between the hedges, Auburn is mounting a big effort behind the man, Bo Jackson. Is Bo running hard now? Does that answer your question? 6-yard touchdown run in the third quarter. Auburn now on top of Georgia 24-10. We'll keep you posted, Keith.
Thank you, Jim. Burline, incidentally, is 4 of his last 15, and he's had 3 interceptions in that string.
Penn State is playing the pass and every down, so it makes it tough on Notre Dame passing.
Pulls it down and takes a pretty good whack up at the 30-yard line from Pete Giftopoulos, a sophomore out of Hamilton, Ontario.
Giftopoulos has 1 interception, Keith. He's an outstanding young player that the Penn State coaches anticipate being a good one. And here's why. Bow! Boy, that's the way you tackle.
Brings up a 4th down and 2, and Sorensen is in to punt for the Irish. He's had 3 kicks today of 26, 38, and 41. This one is blocked. Number 51 got a piece of it. Matt Johnson.
Keith Johnson had been back there 4 straight times and barely missed the block. I don't know why the coaches hadn't figured out what he was doing, but every time that Notre Dame has punted to the right of your screen, number 51, Johnson, the fullback, is trying to keep him out of the play. Couldn't do it.
Bob Otko, senior linebacker, recovered the ball for Penn State, and the Lions are in business again, deep on the Notre Dame side of the field. Ball will be spotted at about the 23-yard line. This is a whipping. There is a penalty flag on the field now, and they're assessing the penalty. I don't know what it was, but the referee will tell us.
Personal foul during the return. First down.
This is the 5th Penn State possession starting on the Notre Dame side of the field. At 2:27 to go in the third quarter. And it's a blowout. Clark and Smith in the backfield for the Lions. Give it to Smith, and he is caught behind the line of scrimmage and dropped for a loss back at the 15. Eric Dorsey making the contact for the Irish.
Keith, you remember Forrest Evashevsky's great team of 1956 that went to the Rose Bowl, the Iowa team?
Yep.
Well, they defeated Notre Dame 48-8 that year, and if Penn State scores again, this will be the worst defeat of Notre Dame since 1956, when Forrest Evashevsky was blocking back for Tom Harmon.
It was a pretty good team.
They did. They were running the old wing T in 1956 and went to the Rose Bowl. I believe they beat Oregon State.
Tommy Prothro. Pass underthrown and incomplete at the 2-yard line. Here's Jim again.
All right, we reported just a moment ago Bo Jackson's touchdown, which made it 24-10 Auburn down between the hedges. Because the game that you are watching is apparently out of hand competitively, we are very shortly going to take you down to a much faster moving game at this point between Auburn and Georgia. By that I mean you can see they're in the 4th quarter. The game has moved along faster on the clock. We will keep you posted, of course, as to what happens between Notre Dame and Penn State in the Nittany Valley, and of course, if Notre Dame were able to mount a monumental comeback, we would take you back. Right now, let's go back to Keith Jackson for a moment.
All right, Jimmy. Here's Kisner rolling out and being dragged down, and he's going to lose some yardage. So a lot of 2nd and 3rd unit players for Penn State on the field right now. And the Notre Dame defensive people getting their back up. They're frustrated, and they're moving them in the opposite direction. They had the ball in way downfield after the personal foul penalty, but now they have been moved back, and once again Massimo Manca comes onto the field. He's hit from 32, from 27, from 50, and 26, and now will try out of Kisner's hold from the 35.
Joe Paterno, Keith, told me yesterday that he supports a change in the field goal rule.
He just hit it, and now he's got 18 points on the day, and it's 36-0.
Balance Bigfoots. And now the fuel-injected Stanza is available with 4-wheel drive.
We played 3 quarters with Penn State leading 36-0. Back after this commercial message and a word from our local stations. We go to the final quarter of play, and Notre Dame on 3rd down and roughly a half-yard send the play into the middle.
Don't get it.
And don't get it.
Well, they'll have to go for it again. They got no choice.
It was Monahan, number 26, in at fullback, carrying the ball. Stams is out of there right now, so Monahan is in replacing him, with Pinkett staying at tailback, and now Joel Williams shows up with a clean shirt, number 89 at tight end.
Give it to Pinkett over the top. You know, Pinkett only needed 7 touchdowns in this season to be the tie the all-time NCAA record. He had 8 against Penn State
the last 2 years.
Well, he's got it and promptly drops it, kicks it. The ball rolls into the crowd, and looks like Penn State's going to come out with it. That is the 5th turnover in the ball game for Notre Dame. The pitch was a little high to Allen, and never got a handle on it. Bob Ontko is going to come up with his 2nd fumble recovery of the ball game.
Pinkett just didn't look the ball in. The ball was high, but he should have handled the ball. And instead, he just let it lay on the ground, and Penn State has their 5th turnover, and that's their average now in the last, including this, 5 games.
And they have scored on 7 straight possessions, 8 out of 9 for the ball game, and they are in business at the Irish 38. 1st down. Kisner gives that ball, and we've got a fresh back in, Kevin Woods. Woods, 180-pound sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. Now, Jim Lempley.
Wait a minute. We have twice attempted to switch your part of the audience to Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, so that you can watch the ongoing Auburn-Georgia game, but because of technical difficulties, we have not yet been able to take you to that game. Just wanted to explain why at this point you are still watching Notre Dame Penn State. I'm told that the problem has been cleared up. Let's join Al Michaels and Lee Grosscup, this time in Athens, Georgia, where Auburn leads Georgia 24-10 in the 4th quarter.
Covered well, and it's 2nd down and 10.
Jackson now 8 of 16 passing for 117 yards, and we talked at the very top of the show about the importance of balance for both teams. But you can forget that concept right now, because Georgia, trailing 24-10, has got to start putting it up.
And the Bulldogs are a team that coming into the game have thrown only 13 passes per game. Tipped and incomplete. Intended for Herman Archie off his fingertips, and it's 3rd down and 10. Vince Dooley has not seen a Georgia Bulldog team lose 2 games in Sanford Stadium in one season since 1979. But they're on the verge of doing that now. They lost to Alabama on opening night. Trail by 14 here. Pat Dye taking his team into Athens, seeking an 8th win in 10 outings, with Alabama still to come on the schedule. On 3rd and 10, Jackson sets up the screen, hits Henderson. Henderson looking for some room, fights his way out to the 20, but he's shy of the 1st down by 5. Holman makes the stop, and 4th down comes up with 5:40 to go in the game. So the Bulldogs probably forced to go for it now, trailing by 2 touchdowns. 4th and 5 from the 20. And Fred Lane, number 4, comes in with the play. They send Lane left, Herman Archie to the right. And Lane goes in motion, with Jackson rolling right, looking and throwing, and complete at the 30-yard line to Archie. And he has the 1st down. So Georgia stays alive, just barely. Arthur Johnson nearly picked it off, but Archie was able to make the grab. 5:06 to go.
This is a clutch pass on 4th and 5 as Jackson sprints to his right, looks to his wide receiver Archie, who is 6'5" and is curled back to the outside. Kevin Porter is there, but he gets in front of him for the valuable 1st down to keep the drive going.
From the 30-yard line, Jackson going over the middle, man wide open. That's Hockaday inside the 45, takes it to the 41 of Auburn. 4:47 to go in the game.
Hockaday, who dropped an easy pass along the sideline earlier, is running a deep curl-in route from his wide receiver position on the right. He works in front of Kevin Porter, number 3, takes the ball and turns back to the outside for more valuable yardage before Tom Powell, number 9, gets in for the final hit.
1st and 10 from the 41 of Auburn. Tron Jackson on the ground, and he scrambles to the 30-yard line, and that's a first down. 4:39 to go. The clock momentarily stopped with a first down. For the record, Georgia has all of its timeouts left, but that won't matter until the next drive. They've got to get in this time first.
They've got to score quick to get the ball back and score again.
1st and 10. Dogs from the 30-yard line. Jackson steps up, throws, and it's incomplete, and interference is called on Tommy Powell. He was all over Troy Sadowski, and the Bulldogs get a big break.
Tom Powell, number 9, the best athlete in the secondary, is covering Sadowski, number 87, who's working down the middle, trying to get in front of the safety man. I think it was clearly interference.
2 flags, in fact. And here's the call. So they line it up and they will march it off. Joe Hicks, the referee, a 15-yard penalty that moves it to the 15-yard line.
Pass interference by the defense, automatic first down.
1st and 10, 15-yard line, 4:22 to go. Auburn and white leading 24-10. Lane and Archie are both to the right. Jackson looking for the sideline and at least got out of bounds, and that stops it with 4:15. Run out by Pat Thomas and Russ Carricker. Next week, as usual, Nebraska and Oklahoma in a huge one. Nebraska 2nd in the country, Oklahoma 6th. 1985, no different from other seasons. When it comes to Nebraska against Oklahoma, you'll see it at 3 Eastern time next Saturday. 2nd and 11 from the 16-yard line. Jackson looking for the end zone, and Archie has it knocked away. He was bumped on the play. The crowd wants interference, but Warren was making an effort for the ball. So no flag. 3rd down.
Jimmy Warren is covering the wide receiver, Herman Archie, number 81. They both have a right to the football.
Jackson is now 11 out of 21 for 162 yards as Dooley watches a 3rd and 11 from the 16-yard line, and they keep it on the ground. Give it to Henderson, who slipped at the 12-yard line, so they tried to fool him. Kept it on the ground. Now 4th down coming up, and timeout called by Tron Jackson because it's 4th and 6, and they better make sure they've got the play in sync here with 4 minutes exactly to play at Athens, and Auburn leading by 2 touchdowns.
Where you going, it's Michelob. There's a style in your life.
Hi. I'm glad you're...
The defensive assistants and Pat Dye to talk about stopping a 4th and 6 upcoming here with exactly 4 minutes to go in the game. Meanwhile, Penn State stretching its advantage 36-0. About 9 minutes still remaining in that one, so at the end of this one, which figures to end before the game in Happy Valley, we'll send you back to State College for the balance of that fray.
Penn State has been winning ugly. Today they put some beauty into their attack.
4th and 6. Georgia from the 12 as Jackson looks for an open man, throws, and incomplete. Juggled by Cassius Osborne, who couldn't hold on. And so the Bulldogs give up the football. They'll have to take their timeouts, the 2 remaining on defense, and hope to get it back again.
You've heard that this is a game of inches? Well, believe it. Cassius Osborne is this close to having a touchdown. Jimmy Warren is the man who applies the hit that finally dislodges him from the football. crowd in there. Stanley Black was in there also.
So now Auburn figuring to keep it on the ground and eat up the clock. And this is Bo Jackson, who's a pretty good man to eat up any clock and clean it as well. Taking it to the 16. Second down and 5. 24-10 Auburn on top as the clock ticks down. Again, the Penn State Notre Dame game behind us in terms of time. And so when this one is over, we will send you back to the conclusion of that one. Second down and 5. But a chance here for all of you to see Bo Jackson perhaps again. Instead, it's Agee, the fullback, carrying on this play. Stopped at the 15-yard line, and it will be third down and 6 as John Brantley makes the tackle for the Bulldogs. If it holds now, Auburn would be 8-2. They have only a minuscule chance of winding up in the Sugar Bowl, but you know that Auburn will be going to some bowl. As far as Georgia is concerned, their Sugar Bowl chances will go down the drain with a loss here, but Georgia 2 with a mark of 7-2-1, and Georgia Tech yet to play figures to wind up in a bowl. Third down and 6. And Washington gets dragged down by Calvin Ruff. So it's fourth down. Georgia did not use a timeout on defense as the clock continues to run down. 2:22, 2:21 and counting, and they will be getting the ball back. Lewis Colbert out of his own end zone to kick. 10-man front, so they'll try to block it as they send him charging, but he gets it away. And a fair catch is called for and made at the 46-yard line by John Little. Bulldogs have it there in Auburn territory. 1:59 to go.
Out here, the O'Neills have been wheat farmers for 3 generations, and DuPont is helping to make it a 4th. For years, DuPont Agricultural Research has developed crop protection products that help farmers like Tom O'Neill grow more food for all of us, now and in the future. So if Tom Jr. wants to follow in his father's footsteps, he can. DuPont, better things for better living.
Offense. Two number 32s participating at the same time.
Yeah, I thought
Five-yard
that's
penalty.
That's what I thought it was. Somebody forgot. And
somebody just had that number to dress out. Had no idea they were going to get in the ball game.
That's right. But Joe had been talking to Jerry about make these guys catch the ball. Take those linebackers and linemen out there and throw the ball at them. Make them catch it. Well, this was about maybe now 3.5 weeks ago. So they started a drill as Blair Thomas now carries for Penn State. They started this drill where they had the linemen and the linebackers in one line and the defensive backs in another, and they started making them run patterns and throwing the ball at them and making them catch it. And they had a contest out of it, and there were times when the linemen and the linebackers beat the defensive backs. So that got them all jacked up, and they really got into it. And lo and behold, in the Boston College game, Johnson, that one tackle, tips it. Russo, the other tackle, catches it and scored the winning touchdown. So,
and Green come through, a defensive lineman to score a touchdown. And the winning touchdown, too.
Yes, it was. On third down and long, they stay with the ground game, giving the ball to Cooper. And Cooper will not get the first down, and so consequently, John Bruno will come out and punt for one of the few times today for Penn State.
Keith, many times we've said the pivotal area in any football game is the line of scrimmage. And if it ever was the case, that was today, because the Penn State offensive line controlled Notre Dame's defense, and on the other side of the ball, the Penn State front defensive group controlled the Notre Dame offense. Let the backs do whatever they wanted to.
At 5 minutes to go in the game, Bruno's second punt of the day. Hangs up and bounces. It was short of the receivers. Bruno averaging up around 43 yards per punt. That time he produced one high and got only 31 yards.
When Bill bought his new business, he was surprised.
Turned in some key plays, and Georgia forced to play catch-up. Second down. Goal to go. Johnson for the end zone, incomplete. Freddie Lane had a couple of defenders out in front of him. Third down.
Freddie Lane, number 4, the flanker back on the right, is the intended receiver. As Johnson sprints out, he's covered by Warren and Powell in the secondary. It looks momentarily that he might be open. The ball is thrown just beyond his grasp. Potentially, it was a touchdown.
Third and goal now. The freshman Johnson back to throw. Incomplete. And so it's fourth down. Herman Archie was the intended receiver. And that time, the defensive line put some pressure on Johnson.
So Johnson, arriving late, is now 3 of 9 passing for 37 yards.
Big day for the Tigers. And on fourth down now, Georgia, even though it was an incomplete pass and the clock has stopped, must take a timeout to discuss their options. Again, it gives us a moment to look at this SEC race. The winner, of course, to go to the Sugar Bowl. Florida is ineligible, so they may win the conference. They won today. They're 5-1 in the conference, but they can't go. Alabama's 4-1-1, but Tennessee with victories, and they'll be favored the next 2 weeks against Kentucky and against Vanderbilt. If they go 5-1, they are in. Auburn would be 3-2. They'd be out. Georgia 3-2-1. They'd be out. LSU would be 3-1-1. But again, Tennessee is the only team now to control its own destiny on the way to New Orleans.
Fortunately, they won early when Tony Robinson was healthy.
And they won today over Mississippi by 20. Georgia with 1 timeout left and fourth down coming up. So they try to stay in the game right here. Otherwise, Auburn can obviously run the clock out. 46 seconds to play. Fourth and goal from the 9. Johnson going, tipped and incomplete. Herman Archie got a hand on it, and that's all at the goal line. And that's all for Georgia. 40 seconds to go, and the Auburn Tigers will have a very happy bus ride back to Alabama.
Johnson unhappy with himself because he threw that ball high and inside. Had he thrown it low and outside, it might have been catchable for Archie and a potential touchdown.
Georgia can stop the clock just once if they so elect, and Auburn can run it out. Washington has gone all the way at quarterback. Puts his knee down at the 7-yard line. And the Bulldogs, at the moment anyway, not electing to use their 1 remaining timeout. It's all academic anyway. As the Auburn Tigers will go 8-2, a team that many thought would win the national championship. They were upset early by Tennessee, beaten a couple of weeks back by Florida. Vince Dooley will watch his team lose for the first time since opening night when Alabama, in that wild ending, came from behind to beat him. Shula leading the team down the field at the very end after it looked like Georgia on a blocked punt had won the game. Since that time, they have gone 7-0-1 with the tie against Vanderbilt, and a very happy Bo Jackson will join his mates on the way back to Auburn, where they will prepare for their battle in a couple of weeks against Alabama. Jackson bothered by a deep thigh bruise, so he did not carry the ball as much today as he might normally have. But he did a masterful job, scored twice, caught a couple of passes, his first 2 receptions of the season. And after the Georgia timeout, Washington puts his knee down. And we can write a finish to this one. A very happy Pat Dye. Watched his team lead at the half by 10. Win it at the end by 14. Dooley, the dean of the conference coaches, and Dye in his 5th year, a man who has taken the Auburn program and turned it into one of the best in the country.
Hey, hot shot! Race you back to the start. Okay, loser buys.
There's something about a Nissan 4x4 that makes turning it off just about the toughest thing you can do. Nissan calls it electro-fuel injection, independent front suspension, and a tough box ladder steel chassis. You just call it outrageous performance.
Who won? Who cares?
For an unbeatable 4x4, the name is Nissan.
Jackson.
All right, Jim. Notre Dame got its touchdown. 5 plays, 52 yards. There was a personal foul call that played a large role in the Irish being able to get into the end zone. Tight end Andy Heck made a big catch for them, and then Hiawatha Francisco from 2 yards out dove over the top and got the Irish on the scoreboard, but the extra point try was blocked. So right now, Notre Dame, after trying an onside kick, Shane Conlon recovered it for Penn State. And the Lions now, after a personal foul call against Notre Dame, has the ball first down at the Irish 23 with John Toogood in there at quarterback. And I think you could see yourself that somebody at the top of the picture left too soon, one of the wide receivers. And so there's a penalty forthcoming against the Nittany Lions, who have dominated this ball game. Nebraska and Oklahoma both won handily today. Nebraska going into this weekend ranked number 2 and Oklahoma number 6. But what with the losses of teams today, I would think that those two teams will probably be 2 and 3, and we'll have them for you next Saturday here on ABC from Norman, Oklahoma. Nebraska running off big numbers, as you saw, but Oklahoma shut down the wishbone of Colorado to win handily themselves. Recapping the scoring here, Penn State got out to a 7-0 lead in the first quarter, ran it up to 16, ran up 16 more in the second quarter, led 23-0 at halftime, and they have never looked back, as Massimo Manca now has kicked 5 field goals and 3 extra points, and he totals 18 points on the day, which is precisely half of Penn State's total points. 36-6 ball game right now with the clock rolling along and 1:20 to play in the football game. And I guess if you had any doubts as to the validity of Penn State's #1 ranking, the showing today surely must have removed most of those doubts, because they played a virtually perfect first half of football. Things have gotten a bit untidy here in the late going, because the field now is really a muddy mess. It's rained most of the day, and reserves now are playing out the contest with less than a minute to play. But it has been indeed an outstanding performance by the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Penn State has played their game, even though the field is muddy in the rain. They've come out today with a great game plan, which is similar to what they've done. Play forward, make the breaks, come your way, score, and they've done that 7 times. They've started with the ball with turnovers in Notre Dame territory and taken them in and scored. So field position has been a big factor, something that's been strong on the Penn State side this season. They are #1, Keith, and they deserve it. 10-0.
They have 1 game remaining against the Pitt Panthers next Saturday in Pittsburgh. This should be the last play of the ball game as the clock expires. And the Nittany Lions of Penn State dominate the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame with a final score of 36-6. We started out with a crowd in excess of 80,000 on this gloomy, rainy, wintry day. By halftime, we'd probably lost at least 25,000, going to a drier circumstance, and now perhaps only 25,000 or so remain in the stand. And now let's go to Tim Brent.
Well, not the cleanest game, but I think you've proven to everybody that the ranking is deserved, Joe. It was a well-played game.
Well, I don't know whether the ranking deserved or not. As I have always said, we'll see at the end of the year what happens. But I think our kids played a very tough game today. It was a tough game for Notre Dame. You know, the weather was so lousy and the turnovers all over the place. So I really wasn't, I think, a fair evaluation of the two teams. But I was pleased. Our kids did a good job, played tough.
What was the mood in the dressing room at halftime?
Well, we felt we had to do, you know, still had another half to play. We felt confident we would win, but we didn't think we could stand around and it would happen.
During the week, There has to be had to be some thought last year at Notre Dame and Pitt to.
Well, as I told the kids in the beginning of the week, I said, you know, you've got to gain some respect. You've got to lick 44-7. It's not revenge, it's respect. I say that's a great tradition, and I think they wanted to show some people a pretty good football team.
Congratulations, Joe. Good luck the rest of the way. Keith.
Well, they will go to a very happy clubhouse. Coming up next, College Football School Board.
Where you going, it's Mick alone. There's a style in your life.
Hi.